Crossroads Investment Lending has helped hundreds of KC investors make their real estate deals happen. Call 913-766-2900 or go to kclend.com.
WHB Kansas City.
You know what makes good sense? Staying safe this holiday season while spending time with your family and friends. Let us cater your safe and happy holidays. Now that makes good sense. So take us home to your family. Who's to say you can't buy love? Just take a bite of a good sense sub. Good sense. Good sense. Makes good sense.
If you have an urgent orthopedic or sports injury, the University of Kansas Health System is open, safe, and has extended hours to see you quickly. Your orthopedic and sports injuries deserve champion treatment from the experts who treat the Chiefs. Request an appointment at kansashealthsystem.com/sportsmedicine. That's kansashealthsystem.com/sportsmedicine. The University of Kansas Health System is the official healthcare provider of the Chiefs.
The countdown to the AFC Championship is on with 24 hours of pregame coverage beginning Saturday at 5 on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Nothing but Chiefs for 24 hours leading up to Westwood One's coverage of the Chiefs and Bills live from Arrowhead right here on Sports Radio 810. So whenever you start your Chiefs tailgate, we'll be ready. The countdown to the AFC Championship on Sports Radio 810 WHB is presented by Victory Chevrolet, Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric, and CBD American Shaman.
Isn't this a sports show?
Kiss my bum. Just go ahead. Please.
That did not sound good. Don't do that. It sounded tinny. Okay, you're done now.
Smooch it.
Almost entirely.
This is a good radio show. It's certainly a radio show.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I say it pretty frequently. I don't have a great memory, right? My best memories are Slim Chickens, basically.
Take the show with you by listening on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app at 810WHB.com or by searching for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
Beards, how do you pee?
This is Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Thank God it's Friday. Usually that's an exhale headed into a nice, calm, relaxing weekend. Usually that means thank God the work week is over. But I am just so bleeping glad that we are almost to Chiefs-Bills. We are almost to the AFC Championship game, and oh yeah, he's back. Patrick Mahomes out of the concussion protocol, which means I am out of the protocol of talking about the concussion protocol for hours and hours and hours at a time, and we are finally within spitting distance of the conference championship games. I don't know if you know this or not yet, but if you don't, I'm about to tell you. You can listen to both conference championship games right here on Sports Radio 810. We've got pregame that basically starts now, not officially, but basically it's been going all week long. But Saturday night, we've got pregame going overnight, 24 hours of pregame, starting after KU tomorrow, and then going all the way up until kickoff. We've got both conference championship games here, and I feel like I both have, and this is going to be a bit of a self-conflicting statement, but no joke. I feel like we have gone through a month of Chiefs-Bills talk, and I feel like in some ways it just started a few hours ago, because so much of this game has been about Patrick Mahomes, as every Chiefs game is, as every Chiefs game will be for the next decade. So much is about Patrick Mahomes, which makes sense, because he's kind of that dude. But this has all just been about where's Patrick Mahomes' head. Not in a metaphorical sense, and not quite in a literal sense. It's attached to his body still. It didn't get that bad out there against the Browns. But where is he in the concussion protocol? What step is he on? What stage is he in? Andy Reid came out today and said he's still in the concussion protocol. And then 15 minutes later, Patrick Mahomes came to the podium and said, "I'm back!" And mercifully, he is. Mercifully, that is true. Mercifully, we are done guessing about Patrick Mahomes' spot in the concussion protocol. I'm Joshua Brisco. Rudy Salazar's on the other side of the glass. Beards is going to be out for a little while on the COVID reserve list. So far, he's feeling well. Fiance is feeling well. I didn't ask if I could say that, but I'm pretty sure he'd be fine with it. I tell you what, he's never going to hear this to hear that I did.
No, he's not listening.
There's no chance. There's no chance
he
he's
barely
listening.
listens when he's here.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. Right now, I'll tell you what. Right now, the Celtics game is on TV.
He wouldn't even know the show had started.
Not a clue.
Autopilot would have kicked in, which
Yep.
would have got the show started, but he wouldn't have a clue what was actually going on.
He would have gotten the intro hit just by muscle memory, just like the show before it's just ended. He might have had it all automated somehow by that point, so he could just spend all of his focus on the Celtics game. But they're both doing all right, but sounds like probably going to be without Beards McFly for a little bit here. So I don't know. I was going to say we'll keep updating you. We're probably not going to. Listen, we just got done kind of updating you on an hourly basis about somebody being Patrick Mahomes. Beards McFly arguably as impactful to just sort of Kansas City as a society, but probably won't go hour by hour updates to keep you posted on Beards, but hope to have it back soon, obviously.
One day you'll just see him back on the video feed.
That's right. That's pretty much it. And he'll be in a hoodie and a backwards hat, and all things will be back to normal. We will have two guests joining us over the course of the night. Very excited to talk to Matt Verderame at 9, not just because of the conference championship games, but also because the NFL coaching cycle has gotten even more, perfect, if we're being honest. The fact that the Texans have interviewed Josh McCown, who is currently on their roster. He is currently a member of the practice squad.
See, because we talked about this, obviously, this afternoon, and I knew he was on because he was on with Pablo Torre on ESPN's daily podcast, and the reason why he was on was because he is literally a quarantine quarterback, and he's not really doing anything except chilling at home and attending meetings via Zoom, and it's fascinating. I'm because we also talked about this, we've seen this in other sports, right? The point guards in the NBA that are, that don't have coaching experience that become a head coach. Catchers in baseball, obviously the quarterback is the equivalent of those positions in football, and I'm a little maybe not surprised, but it just kind of realized we haven't seen that, the quarterback who jumps right into being a head coach, doesn't take that route of he's the quarterback's coach and then the OC and then the head coach. It's just boom, you're a head coach. Because here's one thing. And I think this is a flawed logic to Eric Bieniemy when people are like, well, I don't know if Eric Bieniemy's calling the plays. The head coach doesn't have to call the plays. That's why he has coordinators.
And Josh McCown hasn't coached anything anywhere. What are we doing?
Exactly. But I'm also kind of I want him to kind of get the job it's just because it would be the first quarterback straight to the. Here's the thing: if Deshaun Watson's going to stay, I would rather Eric Bieniemy get the job. But if Deshaun Watson's leaving, I want it to be Josh McCown.
I'm fine with that. Player coach. I actually don't know that he is currently on the practice squad. He was on their practice squad this season.
He probably technically isn't because their season is over, so his contract is probably void.
I don't think those contracts because you don't have Super Bowl teams signing guys whose contracts end. There's the league year still. This is by no means the most important way of starting the show.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
This is absolutely me being blinded by the Texans because I simply cannot help myself.
Here's what I'll say: whether he is or he isn't, it's he's either on the practice squad of his team that cannot currently is no longer playing, or he. But yeah, he's probably not. He's not a free agent at the very least in the sense that the Chiefs can't go sign him to be on their practice squad.
Correct.
I don't think.
I believe
tomorrow he might be on the Chiefs practice squad. Who knows?
It would be hilarious, and then
the next head coach of the Chiefs, one or the other.
Josh McCown on the Chiefs practice squad would be closer to getting a head coaching job than Eric Bieniemy, apparently.
It's sad, but true.
I also need to just point this out really quick because we already have one Facebook comment. Two comments, one on Facebook, one on Twitch.
We have a lot of Facebook comments now.
Well,
that's
but about one particular thing,
that's
Rudy.
my Monday project.
Can I land a sentence, Rudy? Do you mind? I'm sorry for yelling at you. I need to make sure I get the links right, but both on the Twitch and on the Facebook. And if you haven't seen it yet, you can see it on the Twitter account because I just tweeted it out. I finally got my first 810 Fan Shop hoodie, and it bangs. I had some sort of, those quiet high hopes you keep to yourself of just like, man, I hope this comes through looking as cool as I think it's gonna. But also like ordering clothes online can be tough, right? That in my experience, I never buy hats that aren't fitted online anymore because my head is too big. And, an XL here might be a large here, different shoe sizes. God forbid you try to get pants, like pants that aren't stretchy on the internet. No chance. I have no idea. I'm either looking like the after picture in an old school Subway commercial, or I look like I'm trying to wear my girlfriend's pants, which I've done. What? But the shirt that I'm wearing right now, the hoodie that I'm wearing right now, is my first Sports Radio 810 WHB Fan Shop item. And yes, you can get it too. This is currently, how when you are shopping for clothes online, it says like models wearing a size. Right now, model, which is me, is wearing an XL. It's the premium blend hoodie. This was not, I didn't really think we were going to start the show here, but I knew this might happen. I'm saying this as a very, very positive thing. Some of you will know why I'm saying it this way. It is a hoodie that is thinner than you would expect, not in any way feeling cheap. It is sturdy. It feels great, but it's not one of those hoodies that you put on and immediately you start pitting out. Not that I've ever had that problem. It is not a hoodie that immediately makes you start sweating, but it is crazily soft. And seriously, I have no authority to give you a money back guarantee. I don't think that's how any of this works. But if you get one of these and you are not happy with it, you can tell me and I will apologize to you or something, because I cannot see you not being happy with this hoodie. It's the right size. It's a little baggier than, the XL t-shirt that I got underneath it. It fits great. It feels great. I am incredibly happy with it. And you can get it right now. It is the link in the bio on the Sports Radio 810 Twitter account, or you can go to 810WHB.com, and in the top right corner, there's a button that says shop. You can go there, or you can just search 810 Fan Shop and then probably throw in the word Teespring if you'd like, TEESPRING. You go to teespring.com/stores/810-fan-shop. It'll take you there. We got a bunch of designs. I got to say, this design is a classic. It's the 810 inside of an arrowhead. It's not even my favorite. I don't even think it's my favorite of the designs we have right now, and it will not be the last piece of merch from the fan shop that I have. Yes, Rudy's holding his hand up very nicely. Yes, Rudy.
Yeah, I'm asking a question for a fellow
the Showtime one is so good. I forgot about the
Pyro
Showtime.
Wants to know if that hoodie has flour in it.
It does not, no. Listen, you can come through and make fun of my wardrobe yesterday if you want. It is impossible to do that tonight, because this hoodie is great. I'm an extremely big fan. Jeremy Jam says to do a catwalk. And I would actually like to.
But he's allergic to cats.
That's true. I am allergic to cats. That might be like a Facebook, this commercial break, if you'd like. Maybe I'll get up and try to walk through the studio and really strut it. It's great, though. So there you go. There's our ad for the 810 Fan Shop. In fact, Rudy, why don't you hop into the Facebook video of this as the 810 account and just drop in a little link, why don't you? So people can click it there, or you can put it in I don't know, whatever you think is best. Because seriously,
I'll just message the link out to the 3 videos.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I can send it out to. You can just
blast it to all 3.
I'll just copy paste it into all 3.
Sweet.
Twitch, Facebook, YouTube.
You should do it, because it's great. The fan shop got started before Christmas, but the order that we made must have come in whenever I was on vacation, and I just never found the little pile of our merch, and I'm extremely happy with it. So. There's some really good. I like this design a lot, but it's like every single design on the site right now, I'm a big fan of.
Congressman Jam just bought one.
Thank you, Mr. Jeremy Jam. I will vote for you now. Is that illegal?
Well, I'm just letting you know right now, I'm not posting it into Facebook because your mom beat me to the punch.
Thank you, Mom. Mom's out here hawking shirts. Mom, before you text me, I don't think I can get you a discount code. I can try, but I cannot make any promises. But they're all great. Mom, you can message me. Nobody else message me unless you're literally my mother. And then I'll see if I can find a hookup. Or you can just get it because it's worth it. It's great. Big fan. Anywho, I like winning. Let's talk about the AFC Championship game a little bit. I feel finally getting even to Friday. And listen, again, I'm going to be back on these airwaves at 11 p.m. tomorrow night, and then at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning, and then immediately after the game as well, by the way. I am not at the finish line of, like, this game as a whole by any means. The work is still on the way. But even just getting to Friday of this game right now, whew.
Your mom just bought one, by the way.
Thank you, Mom. I hope it meets all your hopes and dreams.
She went with the Coach fitted V-neck.
It's really good, dude. The design of that one is also great. It's all really, really good. I was gonna try to get you like at least free shipping or something, but I'm on the radio. I don't know if you can tell, but I can't. Right now I can't help. But I'm glad that people are buying them. Anyway, I'm just glad to have gotten to Friday, honestly, because it feels like we're almost there. Much how the Chiefs in all of these games, you know, in the fourth quarter, the other team's been like a touchdown away from being a touchdown away. It feels like right now we're actually a touchdown away. It feels like we're finally within striking distance, and it's partially just because Patrick Mahomes finally got cleared of the concussion protocol. And by the way, if you weren't paying attention, if you were not literally like watching the press conferences today, you may not fully understand how we all got whiplash, like Patrick Mahomes may have gotten. We all got whiplash by how the Chiefs handled all of this today. They go through practice, and Mahomes is limited. I think he may have been a full participant in retrospect, but they go through practice. We see Mahomes out there. Andy Reid comes to the podium. He's the first one to talk, and he says Mahomes and Breeland are in the concussion protocol. Bashad Breeland is still in the protocol also, or at least was. Honestly, this day's been a whirlwind. Is Breeland out of the protocol? He's questionable right now.
He should still be in the protocol.
I think he probably is.
Like 90% confident.
He is definitely questionable for the game.
Yes,
I do know that.
Yes. Willie Gay is the only player currently
out. That's correct. Andy Reid says Mahomes is in the protocol, so is Breeland, and they're going to go meet with the doctors again right after practice here and try to get him cleared through. So my takeaway at that point was essentially, you know, Mahomes still in protocol, could be cleared Friday afternoon. Then Travis Kelce comes up, talks to the podium, and then the Chiefs media person on the call says, I know the name of the Chiefs media person, Rudy. I wasn't fishing for a name there. I just wasn't trying to put Brad G on blast. But there you go. Shout out to Brad G one time.
Man works hard.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like stiff him of a mention. I just don't know. I was gonna let it go. Although I will tell you, I'll circle back on this in a second. But anyway, so Brad G says, all right, we're gonna have Patrick Mahomes. Pat's gonna be up here in just a second. And everybody goes, oh well, okay. Yeah, if you're in the concussion protocol, you do not speak to the media. It just does not happen. If you are seriously injured, you do not speak to the media. If you leave a game with an injury and do not return, you do not speak to the media after the game. It's just not how things go. But so Brad says, Pat's coming to the podium next, just something to that effect. And Mahomes comes to the podium. I believe Nate Taylor got the first question there, and he's like, so, you good? Which I actually think may have been how Nate asked the question. It's very much Nate's vibe. He asked it much more professionally. If it was in radio form, that's how I would have said it. So what he's like, can you walk us through this week and where are you at right now? And Mahomes goes, yep, I'm out of the concussion protocol. And he talks about the week a little bit. Now you may be thinking, well, hold on. 15 minutes ago, like literally just Andy Reid starts talking, talks for 6-7 minutes. Travis Kelce comes to the podium, talks for 6-7 minutes. Mahomes is there. Boom, he's out of the protocol. Mahomes went through practice, went and met with the doctors, passed the last stage. That took 15 minutes. So he's good. He's good, and I've actually now seen and heard this brought up twice today from a couple different places. It sounds like this is something I am speaking above my head on this. I'm repeating something from people that I've heard this from now, which I usually tell you that I'm not doing, but it is what I'm doing at this point. But a couple times I've heard people talk about, literally today, that the NFL teams have different ways of sort of handling concussion protocols. You've got 5 steps, but you can some days you can get a little 2 a day. Some weeks, if you need to get through that, if you think you want to get through that protocol real quickly, if you can get through, I don't have the specific steps, so forgive me if I pick 2 that are not doable in the same day. But if you try to get step 2 and 3 out of the way in the same day with your doctor's approval, you might be able to do that. What I've heard is that the Chiefs simply did not do that, did not want to do that with Patrick Mahomes. Monday was step 1, Tuesday was step 2, Wednesday was step 3, Thursday was step 4, today was step 5, and then he got through the protocol today, and now he does not even have an injury designation for the game on Sunday.
It feels like, just based off what I know, it'd be kind of like a 2, 3, 4, 5, because I know 5 is essentially just the doctors giving you that final clear. Like 2 and 3 can probably get done on the same day. 4 and 5 can probably get done on the same day if you're trying to kind of like, speed things up.
I think that I was gonna pull up because I believe our friend Harold Kuntz of Fox 4 had the specifics that they believe he was the one that tweeted it out, and I had the tweet within striking distance here. But right now we're kind of in one of those moments of like the internet is functional, but it's not really like trying to help me, where it's gotten some things to load, but it's still struggling a little bit. We've all been there. It's like 8:30 on a Friday, the internet's not in game day shape right now. I get it. That's not the internet's fault. Anyway, I can't see it.
I would say, if you needed to kill some time while you're looking for it, I would just say, because I was on his Twitter too, Stephon Diggs was a full participant today in practice.
Okay,
so,
good.
Same with Cole Beasley. Those two should be good to go. If you were wondering, Jake Fromm is limited.
Oh, Chiefs by 1 million.
Mm-hmm. Vernon Butler and Gabriel Davis, though, are questionable for game status, but those are the only 2. Gabriel Davis is obviously like their 4th receiver, but did have a big game in week 1. He was the receiver who kept having all the catches where he's just like dragging his toes near the sideline.
Oh, yeah.
When they had like 3 plays in a row that seemed like that. That was Gabriel Davis. I never had heard of Gabriel Davis until that drive, but there we go.
You could have given me 31 guesses as to what team Jake Fromm was on, and I would have gotten it within 31 because I knew it wasn't the Chiefs.
I remembered it was the Bills just solely because shortly after getting drafted, shortly after getting drafted, there were some old tweets of his that came out.
Oh, that's right.
And I remember just the conversations that the Bills having to sit him down and like talk to him and all that stuff.
Yeah, I forgot about that, and I forgot that they drafted him 5th round. I don't know. Did you know that apparently hold on, maybe this is coming up for Super Bowl 55. Apparently, Jake, they're calling him Jake from State Farm, and that he's doing something with State Farm.
I mean, that would make sense.
It's pretty good.
His Twitter handle was, I don't know if it still is, but in college it was Jake from State Farm. Like that was his Twitter handle.
Oh. Should I read what one of the like text screenshots that came out from him? I'm just gonna read it real quick.
They're not good.
This one's just the one that made it to the Wikipedia page. Oh. Text conversation. This is not a text conversation from 2004. This is from 2019. So on June 4th, 2020, Fromm publicly apologized after screenshots emerged of a text conversation from 2019 in which he wrote, the punchline of this ends up being pretty good. The very end of this bit will bring it back around. In which he wrote, quote, "But no, guns are good. They need to let me get suppressors," before adding, quote, Just make them very expensive so only elite white people can get them, ha ha. He further wrote that he was not a, quote, elite white person, unquote.
Good, that guy's in the NFL.
NFL paychecks, baby! 5th round pick! Maybe the State Farm thing had to be before that, right?
I would think so.
There's no way they saw that party out. I'm guessing this is a typo or something.
Because then also he just hasn't done anything, right? Like I think he's even spent some time on their practice squad maybe, or he has been. I don't even know if he's actually Josh Allen's the number 2 right now. Like he might be their number 3. So like he hasn't done anything worth like. Even take that aside, right? The tweets aside, like what has he done to make anybody really want to like pay him money to advertise their products? So it's the thing of a bench. Doesn't even get to wear pads on game day, probably.
His personal life. This is such a weird. I was really hyped for the AFC Championship game talk, and then we got distracted by this because I completely forgot this happened. His personal life section of Wikipedia has 3 things. One is about how he's a Christian and wants to represent Christ the best I can. The second thing is his nickname is Jake from State Farm. And then the third thing is that he is not an elite white person. I think both God and State Farm should probably distance themselves from Jake Fromm. I think that would be good PR for both of them. Can you imagine both like an enormous insurance company and then God himself putting out like a joint statement? Like, yo, hey, listen, we've both had some real fun here.
That'd be big news.
But this dude's a joke. That'd be
some pretty big news.
Big news. I always sort of figured that if there was going to be an insurance, and great and powerful Lord sort of collabo joint, that it'd be an Allstate one, because it feels like "Are you in good hands?" is much more biblical than thanks for the Patrick price. Although I'll tell you what, State Farm has Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, and what better evidence of God do we have than the fact that Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes exist? I mean, that's a pretty good reflection. How did we get here? I think this is me actually again another way.
I was essentially stalling time while you got
the internet
tweet.
loaded.
Yes.
Yeah, it didn't ever happen for my internet web
really?
page. Yeah,
because I have the tweet here.
I would love that.
So I would say just kind of like so phase 1. There's obviously like more here.
Sorry, breaking news. Do you have the breaking news sound? Can I get the breaking news sound? I just got a notification on my Apple Watch. Got a breaking news news alert. I'd like to give everybody really quick. If I could just get that breaking news sound effect real quick. Just the sooner the better. Would love that little swoosher anytime. Bulls 123, Hornets 110. Go ahead, Rudy.
Phase 1 is symptom-limited activity. Phase 2 is aerobic exercise. Phase 3 is football-specific exercise. Phase 4, club-based non-contact training drills. And phase 5 is the full football activity / clearance. There is a little bit more that goes into it. I cannot read it because of the image.
I can barely read it. We're not read all those paragraphs.
Yeah.
Basically, the point on this was, so you're right. So symptom limited activity, which means like resting or limiting in a way that could aggravate your symptoms.
And I would assume if we're talking about, like, again, a team trying to get 2 in a day, I would think you could probably
do
get that
Sunday night.
You could probably get that and aerobic in, or even just that, Sunday night, or maybe both of them in on Monday.
Yeah, so you can get through that for sure. Then 2 is aerobic exercise, which is just like a jog, right? You're moving. Then 3 is football.
That's warm-up.
3 is football-specific exercise. That's still doing football stuff.
Maybe throwing routes to receivers,
absolutely.
that kind of thing.
Stage 4, non-contact training drills. You're still not getting hit. Mahomes was doing, here's the truth, okay? Mahomes did 2, 3, and 4 on Wednesday at absolute minimum. That's the truth of it. He was doing club-based non-contact training drills on Wednesday because he was out there throwing routes. He was a full participant in a limited practice where the entire team was doing club-based non-contact training drills. And then you get full football activity and clearance in phase 5. He might have been able to get that done yesterday. He might have been able to get that done after practice on Wednesday if they really needed to. But for all the conversations we've had about, like, are they going to try to rush him? Are they going to try to play it slow? What's the risk factor here? Whatever. I think taking each of those steps one day at a time ends up giving you this, to think of it this way, it gives you every opportunity for a step backwards or every opportunity for something to backfire, and it never did. They took it slow. They got through all 5 steps. I feel pretty good about how the Chiefs and Mahomes progressed through all of that. Let's take a break. Whenever we come back, I got more Chiefs-Bills stuff. Also, one specific Chiefs storyline that I feel like has really flown under the radar this year. That might sound like me nitpicking again, but there's one position group that I think it's fair to have been disappointed in, and I think it would be really, really, really nice for the Chiefs' chances on Sunday if this position group can kind of redeem itself on Sunday. We'll talk about that whenever we come back.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. Victory Ford is dedicated to one thing, serving you. Our staff are experts in providing you the knowledge needed to make the right decision on your next car or truck. Fantastic customer service doesn't end when the sale does. Our dealership also staffs a 5-star service center with the highest rated technicians and amenities. Visit us at the Legends Auto Plaza on the southeast corner of 435 and Parallel, or online at victoryfordkc.com. Victory Ford, where our first price is better than their last.
Hi, I'm Rick Edelman. With the inauguration behind us, we can all expect new laws and regulations affecting the economy, taxes, student loans, trade, commerce, and more. What does it all mean for your investments, and what should you do now as a result? Get the answers in my special presentation on the election and your investments. The webinar is Tuesday, January 26th at 3 and 8 p.m. I'll show you the impact political parties have had on the stock market, and I'll also give you the 3-step investment strategy you need right now. The webinar's free. Just register at rickedelman.com. That's ricedelman.com. At Edelman Financial Engines, we've been helping folks just like you get through every election since 1986, and we can help you now, too. You'll be surprised at what I have to tell you, so if you missed this webinar before, this is your last chance to see it. Join me January 26th at 3 and 8 p.m. Eastern. Register now at rickedelman.com. That's ricedelman.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm attorney Mike DePasquale. I played linebacker. I won a state championship. I played Division I ball. I know a thing or two about winning. A winning attitude starts with confidence. My law firm is so confident in what we do that if we take your injury case and we don't win, you don't pay us a dime. So if you've been hurt, call me. My team wants to win for you. I've got this.
Mike's got this. All you need to know. 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
Another reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage application tool that leaves you with more time to take the dog for a long evening walk. Good dog. Plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie.
No, it's my turn.
It's not.
Okay, double feature it is.
And still have time to clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing.
Toby!
Bad dog. At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it for our customers throughout their lives. Right now, rates are at a historic low 2.5%. Take advantage of today's low rates by visiting us online at goldenoaklending.com to use Zipline, a simple tool that will make your next home loan or refi a breeze. And remember, at Golden Oak, we never charge for a home appraisal if we can't close your loan. NMLS 114937, 2.5% fixed, 2.655% APR on a conventional 15-year mortgage with 30% equity and approved credit. JLB Corporation, 8595 College Boulevard, Overland Park, Kansas.
Chiefs versus Bills. Pregame starts tomorrow at 5 p.m. with 24 hours of pregame on Sports Radio 810 WHB. You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
I told you before the season that Patrick Mahomes' MVP odds were pretty juicy. I did. It was like 100 to 1. Like, well, that's too high. But you know what? I do have a regret from this offseason. I didn't tell enough people to go to hell whenever they told me to pull back off this bandwagon.
With Joshua Brisco.
Hey, everybody. Hell. Goodbye. Head straight there.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
New Twitch comment here from Milltime. Big fan of the show and the Times Ours podcast, Josh. Thank you, Milltime. You can watch the show, leave comments, and also see these brilliant hoodies if you check out the show in the visual formats on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. Facebook.com/sportsradio810, Twitch.tv/sportsradio810, and YouTube.com/810WHB. Rudy's dropped links to all of the various links in all the various places to our fan shop if you want to check out the design I'm wearing right now. It's an XL of the premium hoodie. I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm wearing the premium one. I've seen the sort of like standard hoodie. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I don't even have to give you this warning. I was going to say, hey, I'm going to be a pal and tell you pay an extra buck for the premium one. But actually, the premium one's the only kind of hoodie that's available on the shop right now. So just buy that one. It's the exact same one that I'm wearing right now. And I love it. I'm thrilled with it. So you can check that out there, and maybe it ends up being a little celebratory gift to yourself or to someone in your life if the Chiefs end up going back to their second consecutive Super Bowl. I was tempted to follow down a little rabbit trail there, but I'm gonna stick to my previous radio tease here. I know this might be a weird spot to kind of circle in on as we are here on a Friday opposite the AFC Championship game. Oop, is my internet going to open this tweet? Tough to tell. I may need some vamping while I pull this one up on my phone here, Rudy. I don't know. We're going to see. So there's a tweet from Seth Walder, who does some really great...
You also might even want to... I'm making sure my hotspot's on if you even want to connect to that.
Oh, that'd be nice. I wouldn't hate that.
Should be able to now.
I really love honestly... I think this is in all likelihood, there's at least something going on the Chromebook side. I really love my little Chromebook. This is not available in the A10 fan shop. This is not a promo.
It is not.
This is me filling time.
You can get it on Amazon, though. That's where I got mine.
I've got this little Chromebook that I've had for a while now. I'm wondering, is the tweet gone? What happened here? What happened, Seth Walder? Or Twitter? But I love... Nope, it's the internet. I love my little Chromebook. I use it all the time. It is perfect for, just being able to get to Google Docs and Twitter and stuff during shows. But for a little while now, recently, there have been some times where specifically the Chromebook is dealing with some issues that feel specific to this. But now with some help of Rudy's hotspot, we're back on the horse.
Yeah, it's not liking the what I assume are internet security for some reason. Yeah.
Our Chromebooks do not get along with the Wi-Fi in the building here sometimes, which is very odd.
Obviously I've had the problem where I just couldn't access the internet for a week, and then this week a couple of times I've lost access to the internet. A restart has fixed that problem each time, but yeah, there's something with the internet security settings.
Well, with that as vamping to get from point A to point B, Seth Walder, ESPN sports analytics writer, has a chart that he put out a couple of days ago looking at, drumroll, for the thing that I was just telling you I'm going to talk about position group-wise. Edges, defensive ends, edge rushers, whatever you want to call them. It's looking at pass rushing rates as edges. Again, edge rushers, defense. The differentiation there is there's a reason for it, but for the sake of our conversation, it's relatively minimal. Because Justin Houston is not a defensive end at this point in his career, but he is an edge. Essentially, if you're in a 4-3, your defensive ends are your edges. If you're in a 3-4, your outside linebackers are edges. Defenses almost never play an actual base like that. So I'm being very simplistic just for the sake of explaining that, because frankly, I don't think anyone ever explained that to me. I just eventually figured that out. And so we got a lot of very, very smart listeners and a lot of people that, well, hold on. I don't mean to put you guys in opposite camps. We have a lot of listeners that are very educated in terms of little football minutia, and also lots of people who are here for the goofs and the ha-has that might not know what that means.
I said they just have a life and they aren't looking at all the little stats like us. They have normal lives. They go hang out with friends and stuff.
I think this show, I'll just absolutely just pat myself on the back just to sniff our own farts here. I think our show's pretty good. It bring both of those audiences to the same place. But anyway, Seth Walder has this chart for pass rushing rates as an edge. And, you've got your two axes. You've got your vertical and your horizontal axis. And it's just a little 4, part square. You got your 4 quadrants. And the two metrics are pass rush win rate, which is how often you're winning as a pass rusher. That's your vertical axis. And then you have your double team rate as your horizontal axis, which is how often this player is double teamed. So if you're really high on the chart, you are winning at a very high rate. If you're really far to the right on the chart, you're being double teamed a lot. So for example, TJ Watt is in the top towards the left side of the chart, which means he is winning more than any other edge in the NFL that meets, the minimum number of snaps. Yeah. He's winning more than any other qualifying edge rusher, but he's being double teamed a little bit less than average for an edge rusher.
Which I imagine is partially because he obviously got hurt. Having a guy when you have a guy like Buddy Pre on the other side, 100%. That obviously limits your double team.
100%. Conversely, J.J. Watt, they are related.
I didn't know that.
This is a Watt brother dominated chart. J.J. Watt is the farthest right on the chart, which means he's being double teamed more than any qualifying edge rusher, but he's winning a little more than average. Now, both of those things are incredibly impressive. TJ Watt is winning a ton, but he's not being doubled all the time. JJ Watt is being double teamed all the time, but he's not winning as much as his brother is. Both very impressive on different positive sides of the spectrum. Myles Garrett is the guy that is cumulatively, he and Joey Bosa are both top right, kind of between TJ and JJ in both categories, which means they're both being double teamed quite a bit and they're both winning a lot. They're being doubled a lot. They're winning a lot. They're very good. Chase Young is up there also, kind of in that little quadrant.
He's scary.
He's terrifying.
Yeah, thank God he's in the NFC.
No kidding. I would not want to be chased through a dark forest by Chase Young or Myles Garrett or I feel TJ Watt or Joey Bosa. I'm sticking with JJ Watt. I'm not I wouldn't be afraid to be chased by him.
He's too nice.
He's too nice.
He could absolutely
I don't
rip
feel like
me in
TJ.
half,
I don't feel like TJ Watt
nice.
is. Why is that? Is it Pittsburgh, Houston?
It could be. I think also some of it, I'm sure too, is just the fact that it's.
I think it's the big elbow brace.
That and TJ is not as corny as JJ.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
Like JJ is very corny and cheesy. He's big on his public image. TJ is just a football guy. He's just a Pittsburgh. We're out here to play some football. I don't care about any of that stuff, guy.
So anyway, those are sort of the positives on the edges. A couple other points of reference. Emmanuel Ogbah wins a little more than average with Miami. He won a little more than average. He's doubled a little less than average. The other way around. He's doubled a little more than average because Miami's not. They don't have a J.J. Watt, but he wins a little less. But that makes sense, right? Well, the qualifying, and I think there are 32 names here. I think it's just the two edges with the most snaps for each team. The guy on this list with the lowest pass rush win rate and one of the lowest double team rates, which means you're in the bottom left quadrant, pretty clearly by himself, is Tanoh Kpassagnon. And that's unfortunate. I really like Tanoh Kpassagnon for a whole bunch of reasons. He just hasn't really made that impact, nor has he demanded attention from opposing defenses this year. There's one other thing, though, in this chart, and it's the color of their names. If you go see this from Seth Walder's Twitter, Tanoh Kpassagnon's name is a light blue, which means his cap hit this year is really low. He's on a rookie deal still. Second round pick, but he's in the last year of his rookie deal. If your name is red, like J.J. Watts, Zadarius Smith, two guys that do a lot of winning, Khalil Mack, who has underperformed his price tag just based on these metrics, his name is bright red. But there is a name in the bottom left that wins more often than Tanoh, but has doubled about the same amount of time, if not a little less than Tanoh. He's right there with Jason Pierre-Paul, who is not doing any favors in this list, and it's Frank Clark. Frank Clark and Tano Passanio are both in the wrong quadrant of this chart to be in. And, Tano being where he is disappointing just because...
Not necessarily surprising, but disappointing. You expect a little bit more.
You would just like to see a little bit more. I'm not really bothered by Tano Passanio not being Chase Young.
You'd like to
I never thought he was Chase Young.
Take a little bit more advantage of the fact that he is always the third or fourth guy that defenses are looking at on that front, and just take advantage of going up against maybe a subpar tackle.
Don't expect him to get doubled a lot. Just try to get a few more wins, a few more. And this also checks with the eye test, by the way. You just don't notice Tano very often. You just don't notice him very often. The bigger disappointment, though, is that Frank Clark is getting doubled about as much as Tano this year based on percentages of snaps, and he's winning a little more. But they're both in the wrong quadrant, and Frank Clark is doing it at a very high cost. Now, I was talking to Seth Kaiser earlier today, and I told him I figured this would be something we talk about more during the offseason. It's more of an offseason topic. I don't... This is a weird time to dig in on this particular stat and everything. But we find these moments from Clark whenever he, snuffs out a screen or seals an edge, stuff that is valuable. But he's being paid closer to Khalil Mack than almost anybody, I would have to go see in fact, we'll take a break and then I'll come back with this next segment. But you'd like to see him performing at a level that matches his financial cost, which he just has not done this year. The other thing, though, and to tie it back to the championship game, Frank Clark had some big playoff moments. And sort of like Sammy Watkins last year, and honestly, in many ways, like Frank Clark last year, if you have big playoff moments, it makes the trade worth it, the contract worth it, because you're helping to bring a Lombardi. If you don't show up in the regular season or the playoffs in a super impactful way, again, Frank Clark's been a fine player, but he hasn't been the guy that the Chiefs traded for, essentially. Also, just to be clear, last year he had the pinched nerve thing, and then also the stomach thing. He had the stomach thing come back again at least once this year. I think it really probably came back a couple times based on just some practice reports. There is a lot of moving parts there on Frank Clark. I'm not pissed about it.
It also felt like he was double teamed more last year, especially early on. Where again, and that's the issue, right? If he was being double teamed a lot but winning a little less than normal, you can kind of you understand it. He's freeing up other guys essentially in the pass rush. It's just not a lot of anything. But again, if he goes out and gets Josh Allen twice this weekend and forces a fumble.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and complain about it for 2 months. Absolutely.
You kind of go, it's worth it. But this is why you traded for Frank Clark. This is why you paid Frank Clark. These are the games where he has to show up in. Otherwise, it's a bad trade and it's a bad contract.
In terms of fully guaranteed money for edge rushers right now, just guaranteed money on the life of their contract, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Trey Flowers, Myles Garrett, DeMarcus Lawrence, Frank Clark. He's 6. It's just, he hasn't performed at that level. Not even a hot take. I'm not weeping over it or whatever. Just something that I've been meaning to talk about this week. Found the moment to talk about it there. Go buy this hoodie on our fan shop. We'll come back in a second.
At JB Briscoe, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
If you have an urgent orthopedic or sports injury, the University of Kansas Health System is open, safe, and has extended hours to see you quickly. Your orthopedic and sports injuries deserve champion treatment from the experts who treat the Chiefs. Request an appointment at kansashealthsystem.com/sportsmedicine. That's kansashealthsystem.com/sportsmedicine. The University of Kansas Health System is the official healthcare provider of the Chiefs.
Sunday, it's the championship round of the NFL playoffs as we bring you a special doubleheader. Hi, this is Scott Graham. Join me and the rest of our Westwood One crew for all the action. First, Tom Brady duels Aaron Rodgers as the Bucs take on the Packers in the NFC title game. Then it's the top 2 seeds in the AFC when the Kansas City Chiefs host the Buffalo Bills. Hear the playoff picture unfold right here.
Your home for the AFC and NFC Championship games. Sports Radio 810 WA.
Small business owners don't have the patience for nonsense, especially when it comes to their internet provider. They want the best services for the best price. Simply put, that's Spectrum Business. They give you great value, zero nonsense. Just call 833-919-2121. You'll get fast, reliable internet and phone with no contracts and no hidden fees, all for a price that could cut your bill in half. Spectrum Business. Call today, 833-919-2121.
Hi, I'm Rick Edelman. With the inauguration behind us, we can all expect new laws and regulations affecting the economy, taxes, student loans, trade, commerce, and more. What does it all mean for your investments, and what should you do now as a result? Get the answers in my special presentation on the election and your investments. The webinar is Tuesday, January 26th at 3 and 8 p.m. I'll show you the impact political parties have had on the stock market, and I'll also give you the 3-step investment strategy you need right now. The webinar's free. Just register at rickedelman.com. That's ricedelman.com. At Edelman Financial Engines, we've been helping folks just like you get through every election since 1986, and we can help you now, too. You'll be surprised at what I have to tell you, so if you missed this webinar before, this is your last chance to see it. Join me January 26th at 3 and 8 p.m. Eastern. Register now at rickedelman.com. That's ricedelman.com.
It's such a beautiful night. Look at the stars.
They're amazing. Did you know 20% of stars have planets orbiting them capable of sustaining life?
How did you know that? You must spend a ton of time reading.
Not at all. I use Blinkist.
Blinkist?
Yeah, it's an app that takes key insights from over 4,000 nonfiction bestsellers and gathers them into 15-minute blinks for you to read or listen to. With Blinkist, you can learn the main points of an entire book in just 15 minutes, as opposed to days or weeks.
What kind of books?
Nonfiction books in over 27 categories, from personal development to history, management, investing, philosophy, and more. Books like A Beautiful Mind, The 4-Hour Workweek, Freakonomics, and Sapiens. Blinkist makes it easy to learn about pretty much anything.
Like the stars?
Even the stars.
Right now, radio listeners get 25% off, plus 1 free week when you go to Blinkist.com/grow. To get this special offer, go to Blinkist.com/grow. That's BLINKIST.com/GROW.
Your home for the AFC and NFC Championship games. Sports Radio 810 WHB. You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Since before the 2017 draft, you know what I've been saying about Patrick Mahomes. And as I've seen more of him, and I've seen him with Andy Reid and everything, my optimism has done nothing but grow. Yesterday was a chance for the optimism to either have a pin poked in it, not to pop a balloon, but, you know, so it's like you take a little bit of the stuffing out of the beanbag. That could have happened yesterday.
With Joshua Brisco.
Or all of a sudden the beanbag's a hot air balloon and it's going to space.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, we covered all the stuff about the defensive ends. Mercifully, we will be no longer just ourselves here, me and Rudy in studio. Matt Verderame will join us in about 5 minutes to look ahead to both conference championship games, which I should let you know are going to both be on the radio here on Sports Radio 810. You're home for the NFL, obvi. You're home for the conference championship games, including, yes, the national broadcast of Chiefs-Bills. It'll be right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. I also don't know if this is technically really supposed to be attached to our show right now, but I'm going to go ahead and give a free plug because these guys have all stepped up for helping to bring us our coverage for you all weekend long. Victory Chevrolet, CBD American Shaman, and Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. If it turns out that they're not supposed to be sponsored on AES right now, you know, I'll take the bullet there because they've all helped provide all the coverage we're bringing you all night long over the weekend, and I'll be there for a couple of phases of it, including on Sunday morning, leading up to both conference championship games right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, the radio station with apparently the dopest merch shop in the game. I just look up at the screen to see myself on the, get the framing right and everything for our video feed, and I keep seeing the hoodie. I'm like, damn, that looks like a good hoodie. Oh, it is. I can feel it. It's wonderful. Also, shout out to Allie Trost, who I don't think is listening at the moment, but I'm currently just texting and trying to, pretty much get the whole like merch. Trying to see how quickly I can get all of this in my closet. She did excellent work getting the fan shop up and running, and it's turned out really well. So you can check all that out at a10whb.com and click shop if you want to do that. We'll talk to Verderame here in a little bit. The other thing, along with all the championship game previewing, is that the NFL head coaching search has continued for the Houston Texans. Is it going to be Eric Bieniemy? Is it going to be Josh McCown? Is it going to be someone else? We'll get a little bit of that with Verderame as well whenever we come back, as we're getting you ready for the AFC Championship game. Just the third in 3 years for the Kansas City Chiefs.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Menards has everything you need to make your home a better place to live. Save big money on all the top name brand products you know and love, like Tide and Era laundry detergent, Bounty paper towels, Swiffer dusters, Charmin bath tissue, and more. A 96-load bottle of Era liquid laundry detergent is just $7.99 now at Menards. Prices are good until January 31st.
Save big money at Menards.
Whether you're looking for energy savings for the winter or updating your home office or man cave, One Stop Decorating is the place for beautiful, energy-efficient window coverings. One Stop Decorating offers free in-home or virtual consultations, or you can come into one of their 3 beautiful showrooms to see all the window coverings in their Hunter Douglas galleries. Ask about smart shades that can be controlled by Google, Alexa, and HomeKit. 913-270-0408, 913-270-0408, or onestopdecorating.com. Your home, your windows, your style.
If there was ever a year to bring back real romance on Valentine's Day, this is the one. A gift of colorful, fine jewelry from Shane Company will dazzle and delight. That's because we're known for our natural gemstones, rubies, sapphires in over a dozen colors, blush morganite, aquamarine, and more. I recommend a pendant with an impressive pear-shaped gemstone. Choose garnet, amethyst, or London blue topaz. Surprise her with the matching earrings. Come see us or go online to find a whole spectrum of colorful Valentine's Day gifts in a wide range of prices. Let's bring back romance. Wake her up with pink sapphire earrings as bright as the sunrise. Or wait until twilight and give her a heart pendant set with rubies as romantic as the sunset. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Spectrum Brands, the leading supplier of hardware and home improvement, is looking for workers at their local warehouse in Edgerton, Kansas, right off I-35. You'll receive day one benefits, 12 paid holidays, and become part of a culture that we love, made up of the right people, a diverse group of people with varied backgrounds. Spectrum Brands is hiring for warehouse workers $16 per hour and equipment operators $17 per hour. Must have 6 months recent reach truck or order picker experience to be an equipment operator. Apply today at spectrumbrands.com/careers. That's spectrumbrands.com/careers. Turn your job into a career with Spectrum Brands.
You're listening to the most powerful sports station in the country. Sports Radio 810, WHB Kansas City, the power of sports.
Schlotzsky's has just what you need to start the new year out right. All of their sandwiches and pizzas are made with their baked fresh from scratch sourdough bread. At Schlotzsky's, they offer curbside, drive-through, socially distanced dine-in, catering, and delivery. And remember, the Schlotzsky's $24.99 lunch and dinner special for a family of 4. Any 4 medium sandwiches or pizzas with 4 chips and 4 cookies for just $24.99. Available at all 5 area Schlotzsky's. Funny name, serious sandwich. That's Schlotzsky's.
There's only one station in Kansas City big enough to bring you all the Chiefs coverage you need. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The Chiefs are heading to the AFC Championship game.
As the Chiefs get set to take on the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game. Keep it on Sports Radio 810 for all the latest.
The quarterback, Trent Green. Super DJ Derek Johnson joins us.
Adam Schefter from ESPN.
If it's Chiefs, it's right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You're listening to extended AFC Championship pregame coverage on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local Shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
You get out of an ice hockey game on a Friday night at 12:30 in the morning. Yep. There's only so many choices, and Taco Bell was always there for me in a time of need.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We are so close to the conference championship games. It feels like they are finally within our reach. We know that Patrick Mahomes is good to go for the Chiefs, so we are going to get the four-man matchup of the week of Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. I don't know if there's an argument to be made here, but I'm wondering how often we've had a better sort of four-man matchup in a conference championship weekend than that, because the weakest link there is absolutely Josh Allen, and I think Josh Allen is pretty darn good. But an incredible matchup coming up, and you can hear them both this weekend right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll talk about it now with Matt Verderame of Fansided. You can check out the Stacking the Box podcast. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderame. There's the Stacking the Box podcast, the Arrowhead Addict podcast, everything up on Fanside, the Stacking the Box column, all of those things. Matt, how has this week treated you? How have you enjoyed the Patrick Mahomes concussion protocol chronicles, and how ready are you for Sunday?
I'm ready for the game. The concussion protocol stuff, listen, I'm glad to leave it all behind. By the way, I must say, the bumpers that you guys have when I come on are fantastic. It is absolutely perfect. But in any event, calculate who I am. But
You've given us so much to work with. I mean, like, listen, you can say that you can say that Beards and Rudy are great artists, and that's true. But they're working with some incredible materials.
I do what I can. It's a joint effort.
It really is.
No, but I'm ready for the game. I'm excited for it. Both just to cover the couple of games and write about them and try to maybe even report a little on them, see how things go, if there's some nuggets to get afterwards. But just from a fan's perspective, just from someone who loves to watch football and someone who certainly grew up, rooting for the Chiefs, like, this is going to be a real fun, interesting, intriguing weekend. And obviously you start with the NFC game and you have this clash of two iconic quarterbacks. And then you go in the AFC, and Mahomes is already iconic. Allen is working on trying to become iconic. And it feels like this is going to be the first of many times these teams meet. I don't think the Chiefs are going away anytime soon. And I got to say, I think the Bills are built a lot like Kansas City. I don't think the Bills are going to fade into oblivion here either.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I really like the dichotomy there of the new guard versus the old guard. But neither way does it feel like cheapened or like one is weaker than the other or whatever. I mean, it's Brady versus Rodgers and Mahomes versus Allen in a way that is just exciting. It's just, like you said, I'm ready for the game. All of the concussion protocol stuff over the course of this week has just been exhausting, and we're pretty sure we knew where it was going to wind up. But now that we're actually within striking distance there, give me a little more on how you're feeling about the Bills right now, because I think that optimism is earned, and I also have a few questions about what they're going to be able to do on Sunday.
Yeah, so look, before I even get on into that, you mentioned that this is a weekend where how often do you get four quarterbacks of this stature, of this level? And, it's funny, I was actually thinking about that the other day, and we're only a few years removed from Championship Sunday involving Nick Foles, Case Keenum, and Blake Bortles. Which is the football equivalent of the meme, like, who hurt you? Who did this to you? Right? It was Tom Brady and those three, and Tom Brady didn't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. That's such a good point.
That is a year, that's like the twilight zone of NFL season. But in any event, look, the Bills, I look at the Bills and see a lot of the Chiefs. I think they're very similarly built. When you look at them, they have the quarterback with the big arm, who's somewhat mobile, who wants to throw first, but can also run. They have the great receiver. I think their offensive lines are similar in talent. I think they're solid. They're not above average maybe or great, but they're decent. And then defensively, again, now they're a little different defensively in the sense the Chiefs have more studs up front, but the Bills have some very good linebackers in Milano and Edmonds. They have excellent safeties in Poyer and Hyde, who are arguably a top 3, top 4 safety combination, and Tre'Davious White, who is a phenomenal corner. So, and they have such a good coaching staff, right? Like Leslie Frazier, Brian Dable, both their coordinators are both guys who have been up for jobs this offseason. And then you look at McDermott, who's done a tremendous job since coming over from Carolina. So I look at the Bills, and I see a lot of Kansas City. I really do. I think they're very similarly built. Now, I do think the Chiefs are ahead of where the Bills are, which is why they're Super Bowl champions. But I think that the Bills are kind of like Chiefs light. That's kind of how I see them.
Yeah, and I'm really intrigued by the Chiefs' lightness because I feel like there have been a couple versions of that throughout the varying kind of, if not dynasties, the peaks of the NFL, that you could try to build the Patriots light or even, the Packers light. But if you don't have Aaron Rodgers and you don't have Tom Brady, you don't have Bill Belichick in the Patriots sense. Right, that it's still like you are absolutely, the prettiest runner-up, but it's never. I don't want to say it's never enough because that year you just mentioned the Eagles won it with Nick Foles, but it's just really it's such a harder way to win.
It is, and that's a good point. Look, I became a fan of football in the early in the mid-90s. In fact, one of the first games I remember watching was the Chiefs-Bills '93 AFC title game. I still have it on the VHS tape somewhere in the house, but so I remember growing up, and despite being a Chiefs fan, I grew up watching those Niners teams, those Cowboys teams.
Yeah.
A couple of years later, those Packers. You just knew like those teams were so great, specifically the Niners and the Cowboys. That you knew. Like I remember in '94, even as I was a kid and I was 6, but I remember watching the Cowboys 49ers NFC title game in Candlestick, and just thinking to myself like, oh my God, like whoever wins this game, like they shouldn't even play the Super Bowl. The Chargers have no chance.
Right.
And what I'm driving at is the Packers, a year later, Favre started his run of 3 straight MVPs. They brought in Reggie White. They had Mike Holmgren. It took them years to get through those teams. I mean, it took them, even in '95, like they went to Candlestick, they upset the 49ers, but then they ran into Dallas and they lost the NFC title game. And then there was finally in '96 was the year they got through the Niners. Carolina, oddly enough, beat Dallas, and the Packers were able to win and go on. But it took them years and years. I mean, that was their 4th straight year in the playoffs. And for Buffalo, I think Buffalo is really good. Mm-hmm. I would not be shocked if they win Sunday. Mm-hmm. But I also think it's just, look, the Chiefs went through it. For years and years, they banged on the door. Then they got Mahomes. They still needed to go through a horrible loss with New England to get through that. I wonder how much that plays into this game on Sunday. Like Buffalo, because I will say this, Buffalo's going to face adversity in this game, which they haven't faced before.
Yeah.
That's coming. I mean, unless Mahomes, for some reason, is not 100% or whatever, this is not Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
This is not Lamar Jackson and, like, the idea of a deep ball being 6 yards.
Right.
Like, this is here come the Chiefs, and they're going to bring it, and you're going to have to not only match it, but eventually exceed it. That is a far different animal than anything most of these guys on the Bills have ever seen.
And so the one thing that I keep going back to, and I think this is probably because we spent so much of the week talking about Mahomes, but I went back to that Week 6 game, and listen, I understand that the Bills are in a better place than they were then in a number of places. That offense just feels different. Matt Milano is back defensively, which is a big deal. I totally understand that. But also, in that game, the Chiefs were in control 100% of the time. The Bills scored 17 points. Josh Allen, I couldn't say this confidently. You might know better than I would. If it wasn't his worst game of the year, it was certainly one of them. I mean, it looked like a mirage. The second place game might be the week before against the Titans when they put up 16 points. Like, the things that I don't feel like have followed through from that game in our conversations this week have been that, again, I think Spags won that matchup. I think, Tyrann Mathieu, that defense as a whole, won that matchup. And I have, if not doubts, I have questions about how the Bills are going to do better this time. What do you expect?
So I think that, to me, there's a few things that are really fascinating. One is, are the Bills going to play defense schematically the same way they played in Week 6? Because in Week 6, they never blitzed. Like, literally, they never blitzed.
Yeah.
They played a 4-man rush. They dropped everybody, and they begged the Chiefs to run the ball. So I don't think it's the worst strategy in the world. The problem is the Chiefs still took it and ran for 245 yards.
Yeah.
And then threw the ball whenever they really needed to.
Yeah.
At any point in time, when they needed a play, when they needed to convert on third down, they did it no problem. So if you're the Bills, do you play like that again? And it just sounds bizarre to say this after they lost the game. I think you do. I think you're almost compelled if you're Buffalo, because as good or as great as Tre'Davious White is, their other corners are not good.
Yeah.
And so you're not going to get man-on-man. It's a complete disaster if you're the Bills to play the Chiefs man-to-man. Now, they love to play a lot of cover 4. They like to play back. Which the Chiefs don't care. That's fine. They'll just throw the ball to Kelsey. If Watkins is there, they'll throw to him. They'll run the ball. And that's where I think the Bills are going to find in this game because, if you're a Chiefs fan and you've watched them over the years with Mahomes, there's one way to stop the Chiefs offense. Get pressure with 4.
Yep.
The Bills don't get pressure with 4.
Yep.
The Bills blitz the 8th most in the NFL, and they have the 25th pressure rate. Nobody on the team has more than 5 sacks. They don't get home. And so to me, that to me is the problem that they have to somehow solve. If they can't get home with 4, they're going to lose this game. He will just sit back there and slice them up over and over and over. And so that to me, and I will say, you hear a lot of this, well, the Bills have been better since weeks. Well, Josh Allen was an MVP candidate the first 4 weeks of the year.
Yep.
I mean,
That's
wasn't
true.
like the Bills were playing like garbage. Now, I think the week before they got spanked, they turned it over 3 times to the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like, the Bills were awful before that game. And by the way, the Chiefs haven't lost a game with their starters since that game.
That's true.
So,
that's right.
I mean, there seems to be this weird narrative that, like, the Chiefs are somehow trending downward. They haven't lost a game.
Mm-hmm.
They just won a playoff game with Chad Henne for a half of football. Like, it's fine. So I think the Bills have to get pressure of 4. They got to score 27-plus points, and I think they got to win the turnover battle. Because if you go and look at what they've done this year defensively, when they've played upper echelon offenses, they have gotten slaughtered every time. Arizona lit them up. Seattle turned the ball over 4 times and scored 34 points. The Rams turned it over multiple times. I believe it was 3 times. Had 32 points. The Raiders had 2 turnovers, went up and down the field the entire game. I believe it was very close to 400 yards in the game. And Kansas City hit almost 500 yards and had a turnover. If the Chiefs don't turn the ball over and the Bills don't get home with 4, that's the recipe that I think the game could get decidedly put in Kansas City's column earlier than you might expect.
So I guess, I mean, I suppose you've sort of shown how the inverse of that happens. But if you're gonna come up with a way, look, the Chiefs are not gonna get held to 18 points in this game. It's just simply not gonna happen. I mean, I don't care if of all 4 of their front 4 end up with game breakers from NFL Street. If they get pressure with 4 even, the Chiefs are not gonna score 17 points in this game. What is the Bills' best chance offensively to keep that offensive pace? I love Stephon Diggs. I've been impressed by Josh Allen's growth in a lot of places and everything, but I'm still having a hard time fully building that argument.
Well, you hear the analytics community, it goes crazy when they ran the ball 1 time in the first half last week.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, that's it. Brian Dable's our guy. It's like, you realize Brian Dable in that offense scored 10 points, right?
Right.
Like, they did nothing. And one of those drives that they scored on their field goal started at the Ravens 38, and immediately the Ravens took a personal foul. And that was 3 of the points.
Yeah.
So that offense, which is space age and threw the ball 1 million times, scored 7 points.
Yeah.
Now, look, I get it. The weather or whatever. The weather doesn't look like it's going to be great on Sunday night either.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the Bills, you have to be balanced. Like I'm not saying you should run 50% of the time, but run 30% of the time, 35%. I mean, because look at the game that the Chiefs lost this year. Everybody remembers the big plays from Carr, and that's true. But they also ran for 166 yards, I believe. Like that was part of the problem. If the Bills just throw the ball nonstop, A, the Chiefs are pretty good against the pass. B, they've got a bunch of guys who are going to get one-on-ones up front, including Chris Jones.
Yeah.
Like, if that happens, that's a problem. Because you know who holds the ball longer than anybody in the league, save for 2 quarterbacks? Josh Allen. Holds the ball for 3 seconds on average. He holds the ball for 3 seconds, and they're trying to block Chris Jones one-on-one. That's not going to end well.
Yeah.
So you need, to me, look, I get it. The Bills aren't good at running the ball. especially now they've got Zach Moss out for the year. They want to drop back and throw it. I understand all that, but if you think about it and you just take fandom out of it, look at the game just kind of objectively, you'd say, well, Steve Spagnuolo's a pretty good coordinator. He's got a couple rings on his finger. The guy's not dumb. He's going to look at the game and go, well, if we don't have to worry about them running the ball at all, I can mitigate them throwing the football.
Mm-hmm.
We can drop 6 DBs onto the field and just double digs or bracket Beasley or however you want to go about it. I think if the Bills are going to win, again, they've got to get 27-plus points, and I think a lot of that is balance. They might need a turnover. I think the Bills are really good. Like, I wouldn't be floored if they won, but I do think the Buffalo is going to have to play its best game, and they're going to need the Chiefs to give away a turnover, to drop a pass on 3rd and 6, to take some penalties. I mean, typically with the Chiefs, that's how they lose. That's what it would take. I think that's true on Sunday.
What about from the Chiefs' perspective? You get the Bills' offense, and let's say they run the ball an amount that you feel good about, and there's a little bit of balance there and everything. Whenever you do look at the weaknesses that Josh Allen has shown, you look at him holding on to the ball for too long, like you said. What is your favorite preferred game plan from Spags' perspective, from the Chiefs' perspective, in terms of do this and the Bills are not going to be able to keep pace with you? How do you force their hand and make them do what they don't want to do?
So I'd play a lot of coverage. I would play a lot of dime in this game. Look, the Bills love to play 3 receivers on the field at a time where anybody in the NFL, and I believe the same 4 wide receivers. So you're going to be in dime a lot anyway. But if I'm the Chiefs, I'm fine with that.
Yep.
Especially if they got Fenton and Breeland back this week, and you can put them on the field with Matthew and Sorensen and Ward and Thornhill and Snead. If I'm the Chiefs, that's great.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with that. I'll play that all day long. And so if I'm Spagnuolo, 1st and 2nd down, I'm not blitzing much. I'm going to force Allen to throw the ball in coverage. I'm telling my edge rushers, look, get wide. Do not let him get out of the pocket. Keep him in the pocket. I would do everything I could if I'm Brendan Daly, their defensive line coach, to try to create one-on-ones for Jones inside because he's going to win against their interior. Their interior is okay. It's not something that I don't think Jones can beat consistently. In the Week 6 game, he had a pressure rate of over 25%, which is insane. So I would do that. And then on 3rd down, look, if you're going to bring pressure, if they get them in 3rd and longs, I'd bring pressure, and I'd bring it right up the middle. Because to me, that is going to get Jones one-on-one. And also, it's going to put Allen in a spot where, in all likelihood, he can't scramble up. He's going to have to scramble back. And if he scrambles back and your edge rushers are wide, he's scrambling right into them.
Yeah.
So, I think, look, there's different ways. I go back, not to get off course here, but I go back to when the Chiefs lost to the Pats a couple of years ago in the AFC title game. If people remember, the first half of that game, the Pats did not blitz a ton, but they ran a ton of games up front. They stunted, and they did all these twists and all these loops. And the Chiefs had no clue how to handle the first half of the game.
Yeah.
And it felt like they were blitzing, but they weren't. They were only bringing 4 guys. If I'm Kansas City in this game, I would run some games. I would do some different things. But my biggest thing if I'm up front, especially on the edges, I get Allen can beat you from the pocket, make him do it. Keep him in the pocket. Let your secondary, which to me is the most talented part of the defense, let him work. Let him cover. And maybe you get lucky, and Allen gets antsy, gets anxious, and he fires one into double coverage, and you can get a quick pick.
That 2018 AFC Championship game poll is such a good one. That is such a good call. I was rewatching a big chunk of that during the show a few nights ago because NFL Network has been re-airing a bunch of those games and stuff. And as painful as it was at points, I thought I was safe from being hurt by that game. I wasn't. It was still not fun. But you're so right that first half, with all of the mess that it felt like, it was this really frustrating combination of feeling like there was this manufactured pressure without the payoff of being able to pick on the numbers in the secondary. And obviously Mahomes wasn't the guy then that he is now in terms of seeing, diagnosing, and reacting to a unique pressure front, or in terms of taking advantage of the numbers in the secondary. But you're totally right that the Patriots did an incredible job of that. And frankly, as much as that's not, Mahomes isn't that guy anymore, 2018 Mahomes isn't a terrible comp for Josh Allen at this point, I don't think.
Right, that's kind of the overarching point of this.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm Spagnuolo, I'm like, you know who's never been in this game before? Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Like, you know who's never beaten our defense before? Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So if I'm him, look, if I'm Spagnuolo, I'm thinking about this game in terms of if I can get him to make one big mistake, we're going to win.
Yeah.
Like, if I can force him, even if it means giving up a play here or there, if I can force him into one big mistake, we're probably going to win. We're probably going to win the game. So, like, if I'm coordinating the Chiefs defense, I'm thinking, like, okay, you know what? Early in the game, maybe on a play that you think might be fairly inconsequential, like, look, we're going to show an all-out blitz, and then we're going to drop into cover 3. And then maybe 2 series later, I'm going to show them the exact same blitz, but we're going to jump into man. And I'm going to bring one guy, and I'm going to drop the other 2. And then you know what? When we really need it later in the game, and it's 3rd and 8, and we're up by 5, and there's 6 minutes to go, I'm bringing all of them.
Yeah.
And I want him to have to sit at the line of scrimmage. Like, the longer you can make Allen and that offense think and try to figure out what's coming and try to figure out the coverage behind it, the harder it is. And that's one thing where I do think, look, I think sometimes experienced people overrate it because at the end of the day, if you're more talented, you have a good game plan, I think more often than not, like, you win. You just do. But I do think in a game like this, it can play a role in the sense not only have the Chiefs players been here, the coaches have been here a million times. The Bills coaching staff, now Frazier was a player on the 85 Bears who won Super Bowl, like they've not been, Dable's been there a million times as a coach with the Pats, not as a coordinator. And Allen's never been on the field in one of these spots. Diggs was there after the Minneapolis Miracle a few years ago. But a lot of these guys, the Bills have the least experienced team of the 4 that are still remaining.
Yeah.
I do think in a big spot, in a have-to-have-it spot in a game like this, with Kansas City is the most experienced of the 4 teams, I think that matters. And I do think in a game where, if Allen makes one real bad mistake, that might be good night. And I think, if you're the Chiefs, you're trying to exploit that.
I'm going to sound like I'm blowing smoke, but I think that's the best little 15-minute snippet of what the Chiefs need to do in this game that I've heard all week. I think that is absolutely excellent, Matt. Let's see if you can bring a similar amount of heat on the NFC side, because I have thought about this game virtually not at all this week. I have been very, very preoccupied on the AFC side, but I'm excited to kind of watch in a lot of ways as a spectator for Packers Bucks, because this is an extremely weird matchup between two absolute titans of this quarterbacking generation.
Yeah, so this is an interesting game because it's also a rematch of a Week 6 game, which we all know at this point the Buccaneers won 38-10. It was a blowout. I feel the same way about that game as I feel about the Chiefs-Bills game from Week 6. I don't care. I don't care. It means very little to me because, maybe it's a little informative of how one team's going to play. But I don't think either one of those teams. The only thing I think it matters for Tampa is they're going to go into that game knowing they can win. They're going to know, and I also think it matters. Look, when you go out on that field, if you're the Buccaneers, who also don't have a ton of experience outside of course, Brady, but if you go out there and you see Tom Brady on your sideline, you're thinking, all right, we're in pretty good shape. We got Tom Brady. That stuff matters. So, look, as far as schematically, to me, this game's very easy. Can the Buccaneers light up Rodgers like they did the first time with pressure? They hit him 13 times the last time these teams faced. They sacked him 5 times. Obviously, they got the 2 picks. But I'm not even going crazy about the picks. Can they pressure him? Can they knock him around? Because the Buccaneers blitz more than anybody in the NFC outside Arizona this year. They love to bring pressure. They're not afraid to leave their corners on an island. Now, their corners can be had. We saw that with Carlton Davis, who is still looking for Tyreek Hill. But, that is a concern if you're the Bucs. Now, they also have Devin White. And Devin White, to me, is the X factor this entire weekend because he is a phenomenal second-year linebacker at LSU. He's got sideline-to-sideline speed. He is, to me, a guy who's a lot like a Bobby Wagner or a Fred Warner. He is a tremendous young player. And so he's going to be able to guard Aaron Jones. The other part of this is, or Robert Tonyan, whoever they put him on, the other part of it is Vita Vea, their D tackle, former first-round pick, who was activated off IR today. He is expected to play. That is a big deal. They are number 1 in the league against the run this year. With him, they were basically impenetrable inside next to Ndamukong Suh. The Packers, as much as everybody thinks about them as this pass-happy team, they run the ball. And if the Buccaneers can shut that off and get Rodgers into 3rd and longs, then that blitz becomes a major factor. So, look, I do think the Packers are the better team, but I also think that the Buccaneers have a real shot. And let it also be said, Mike Pettin, who Packers fans, the defensive coordinator, who Packers fans have wanted to fire all year long, and rightfully so, he against Tom Brady, not great, if you're a Packer. Like, if you're a Packer or a Packers fan, and that's the same thing, like, if the Chiefs and the Packers end up playing in the Super Bowl, look, I think they're evenly matched. I think the Packers are a bad match for the Chiefs in a lot of ways, but the force that cannot be overrated is Andy Reid and Mahomes with 2 weeks to get ready for Mike Pettin.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that anyone punts. And so does Brady in this game just light them up? I don't know. I think the Packers are slightly better, but I think it's a very interesting game.
So do this, then. I don't need your score prediction or whatever. But who do you think wins these 2 games? And then give me your confidence rating on a 1 to 10 for both of them. Because I imagine it sounds like you could really see these games both going the other way.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked no matter what the matchup is. But I'll start in the NFC since the early game. I think the Packers win on a 1 to 10 scale. 10 being the most confident. I'm probably at like a 6. I'm not crazy confident about it. Like I think they win because my default is always if you're on the fence a little bit, who's the better quarterback?
Yeah.
Well, Rodgers is going to win the MVP. He's the better quarterback. But right now, I just trust him more. I think if Brady gets on, that's the one thing in that game. If Brady gets pressured, good night.
Yeah.
Because he's falling off a cliff when he's under pressure. In fact, I think it was Aaron Schatz over Football Outsiders who put out a tweet that Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league under pressure. Rodgers is 2nd. Allen's 3rd. Brady's 30th.
Man, yeah, I saw that. That's crazy.
That's the problem.
Yeah, it sure is.
That's the problem. So now there's that. As far as the AFC game, look, I do think the Chiefs will win the game. I picked them to win on the Arrowhead podcast. It was 33-28. I'll be blunt. I would not be shocked if the Chiefs won by more than that. I also wouldn't be shocked if Harrison Butker's running out to attempt a 56-yard game-winning field goal, and everyone's ready to have a stroke simultaneously in Kansas City. So I can see the thing. A lot of it for me depends on how well Mahomes plays, just coming off the injury.
Yeah.
My confidence level, 7.5.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good. Look, the problem I keep coming back to, and I always try to talk myself into both ways and see which way I have to talk myself into, like, for a longer period of time. The Bills, like I said earlier in the show, they're like the Chiefs, but the Chiefs are just a little bit better than them everywhere.
Yeah.
They're a little bit better at quarterback, if not, considerably better, depending on your perspective, but at least a little bit better. The Bills have a really good coaching staff. The Chiefs are a little bit better. The Bills have good weapons. The Chiefs are better. The Bills have guys on defense who can make a difference. Yeah, but the Chiefs have 2 guys who are going to go to the Hall of Fame defensively. Like, it feels like the Bills are really good.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs are just better. And I look at the Bills and think they're a very good team. I look at the Chiefs and I think they're a great team.
Yeah. Matt, incredible stuff as always, but truly exceptional this week. Always great to talk to you. We'll tell everyone where to get all of your stuff, and I look forward to talking to you again very soon, hopefully about a little... I was going to say hopefully previewing a Chiefs-Packers Super Bowl. I would settle for Chiefs-Buccaneers, but that part, the AFC part, is non-negotiable. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Thanks.
Whoop, I put him on hold too soon. Sorry, I think he was going to say take care, and I got through take. That was... Verderame's always fantastic, even though I cut him off at the end when I put him on hold. I was trying not to hang up on him and be rude, and I accidentally was even more rude by accident. Here's what I'll tell you. Here's how I'll make it up to him. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderame. Check out the Arrowhead Addict podcast, the Stacking the Box podcast. Read all of his work up on Fansided. The dude is connected. The dude knows what he's talking about. Seriously, that's as good a breakdown as I've heard anywhere at all over this last week, looking ahead to the conference championship games, especially on the Chiefs-Bills side. I don't want to get out ahead of myself. I don't want to say something too controversial, but I'm really ready for the AFC Championship game. We'll talk more about it whenever we come back.
Take the show with you wherever you go. Listen live on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app and 810WHB.com.
Playoff season is here, and you'll score big at Robert Brogdon Buick GMC. Save thousands below MSRP and get 0% for up to 72 months on most new Buick and GMCs. There's a huge selection, including the 2021 GMC Sierra. Plus, they have over 200 used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Rush to Kansas City's highest volume Buick GMC dealer on I-35 in Santa Fe and Olathe, or at robertbrogdon.com. On select models must qualify and finance through GMF for special financing. See dealer for details.
What's up, Kansas City? Jake Gutierrez here to tell you about my friends from Lightstream, a division of SunTrust Bank. Are you thinking about the high interest rate credit cards you used over the holidays? I am. When it comes to refinancing your credit cards, you've got options. But only Lightstream was ranked #1 by J.D. Power for customer satisfaction with personal loans. Lightstream's credit card consolidation loans start at just 5.95% APR with autopay and excellent credit. You could save yourself thousands in interest. You can even get your money the same day that you apply. Apply today for a credit card consolidation loan from the company J.D. Power, ranked #1 for customer satisfaction and personal loans. Plus, get an additional interest rate discount simply by going to lightstream.com/Jake. It's lightstream.com/Jake. Subject to credit approval, rates range from 5.95% APR to 19.99% APR. Include 0.50% autopay discount. Lowest rates require excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Jake for more information.
Now is the time to establish and or maintain a barrier around your house. Don't let it break down. At Augustine Exterminators, they have you covered. Augustine Exterminators is a family-owned local business since 1966. Call Augustine Exterminators today at 913-359-8627 or go online at AugustineExterminators.com. And Augustine is looking for qualified technicians. So call today at 913-359-8627.
Hindsight is 20/20. 2020 was a brutal year with a lot we couldn't control. Pandemic, economy, unemployment. What can we control? Our job, our career. Don't look back with 2020 hindsight next year and see yourself in that 2020 job. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Chiefs versus Bills, Sunday at 5:40 on Sports Radio 810 WHB. This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Are you a Sour Patch Kids fan generally?
Love them.
Yeah.
I just can't. I don't know. You said like it tasted like.
I keep licking the inside of my mouth. Unpleasantly. I'm sorry. Go ahead, TJ.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Thanks again to that Verderame of Fansided, Stacking the Box, the Arrowhead Addict podcast. Seriously, I mean, he just does such good work in that breakdown. If you missed any of it, grab the podcast later. It's worth your time. There's also been a bunch of stuff this week. If you're listening to the podcast of this because I've tweeted it out 14 times over the weekend, you're thinking that was great. What else have I missed this week on Almost Entirely Sports? I would love to tell you about it. I'm gonna accidentally skip somebody probably. And I don't mean to, but we had Seth on Tuesday. Seth's always great. We talked to Harold Kuntz of Fox 4. He was great. He also asked the best question in the press conference today. We found out yesterday that Darryl Williams' nickname is Dirty, which obviously puts him in odds with Dirty Dan. And then Harold asked Dan Sorensen today. In fact, I wish I would have cut the audio of the question itself. I'm guessing the answer is not cut already. But I'll tell you, the question was Harold sort of running that by Dan Sorensen and then asking who the superior Dirty D is. And then Harold started laughing partway through his own question because I think he heard himself say, who is the dirtier D? And I tweeted this, and I mean, I would step in front of a moving train for Harold. I mean, just the best question that's ever been asked. We talked to him earlier this week. He was killer. Talked to Seth. He was great. Especially fun to talk to Breland Moore of KCTV5 and Tom Martin, formerly of KCTV5 and now of Let It Fly Media. Both of them were exceptional, talking about just telling stories from their time covering the Bills. You can hear Tom Martin talk about the Bills fans and their dill pickle and throwing that onto the field and having that during the tailgate. And then Breland told us a story about a man with a fake name and some ketchup and mustard. And we looked into Rex Ryan's tattoo. Just we've had so many great guests and so many great segments and hours this week. We had Tucker for a bunch of power rankings and everything last night. I've been really pleased with this week of shows. I hope you have been as well. And if you missed any of it, you can go to aes.show for the podcasts, or just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts. Rudy, you have Harold's question here to Dan Sorensen. Does it include Dan's answer?
It does.
Good. Let's just run through this real quick. Here's Harold's question to Dan Sorensen from today.
Hey, Dan. So there's this big thing yesterday with Darrell Williams. He's Dirty Darrell Williams, but you're also known as Dirty Dan. So I just want to know who's the best Dirty D, if you will, of the bunch here. You or Darrell?
It's not like a competition or anything. He's a great player. Just, I guess happen to have the same nickname.
So uncomfortable. Dan was so uncomfortable. Rudy, please make that no liner for the next time Harold is on with us.
Good call.
Please.
That's a really good call.
I don't want to forget to ask him about it, because I just want to know the moment. I want to have him help us pinpoint the moment that he knew. He
realized what he was about to say.
The record scratch, you're probably wondering how I got here kind of moment. Oh, it's just so good. Also right now, Nuggets and Suns is on ESPN, which you have on the TV in here. I'm a Suns fan. Rudy is a Nuggets fan. The Celtics, Beards' team, lost to the Sixers. Sterling's team, if you think about it. Earlier tonight.
Got a little bit of all of us.
But
here we go.
But there's been,
buckets.
Right now, DeAndre Ayton is playing jump rope with Nikola Jokic's entrails right now.
I got excited when you saw me get excited. I don't know if you noticed. I don't know if it was his first shot or not. It's just at least the first shot that I saw is Michael Porter Jr. is back in the game.
His back? What's with his back?
He's in the game.
His back is in the game?
He's playing.
Does that sound
technically, good? His back is there. It's attached to his body.
The one guest I forgot about scrolling through the podcast is that Mick Shaffer will be on with us here in 20 minutes. So we'll have Mick to help us close out the week. There was a nice play by, who was that?
Campazzo. He is a Argentinian who has spent the majority of the last handful of years of his career in the Spanish league, and I believe they also call it the Spanish basketball league, La Liga. But I might be wrong.
You also, that was a long two there from Michael Porter Jr. Did they get that right? His toe was on the line.
I don't care. He hit a shot.
You mentioned this to me off air yesterday or a day or two ago, and I just saw it with my own eyes for now. Nikola Jokic needs to keep a little bit more hair than he currently has. Yeah. He just sort of looks like a stereotypical grunt for a Bond villain, or maybe like someone who has some problematic sort of views or action. I don't know. And that does not in any way seem reflective of Nikola Jokic, who seems like a lovely man.
Yeah, see, like legitimately, like people, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about the guy.
Yeah.
It's just the haircut.
Never heard anyone say anything bad about the guy other than the fact that he's the 6th best player in Serbia.
That's better than the 7th, I guess.
You said the guy that just scored a second ago was Argentinian. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so he's
Campazzo.
All right, it could have been 7th. Wow, and Jokic isn't even the best foreign-born player on the Nuggets. That's crazy.
Well, Jamal Murray's Canadian.
Oh yeah! Wow, he's 3rd. Wow.
There's also Vlatko Kankar, who is I think also Slovenian.
Let's not get silly.
I think he's Slovenian.
Jokic is better than him. See what I just did there is that's a play out of a political handbook, which is just say crazy bleep, crazy bleep, crazy bleep, bleep, and then say something reasonable. So now all of a sudden I get some credibility back again.
Yep, it's the way to play it.
It's basically it's either the insert your least favorite political figure here, which reminds me of something that happened.
Depending on how you look at it, right?
That's
Could
true.
be your favorite.
I guess that's true. Or it can be the cow herd, where it's just Josh Allen's better than Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Look at my quarterback power ranking entering the playoffs. And 2 weeks later, he says I'll never doubt Patrick Mahomes again or whatever. That's that game you can play. I was putting a pin in something that I thought was funnier from earlier today, but I think I'm just going to leave it there. And you can, you want that story, you can subscribe to my Patreon. I don't have a Patreon. I did at one point.
He does have an OnlyFans, though.
I do.
Of course.
It's 2021.
Who doesn't?
It is exclusively.
There was a pandemic going on. What do you think we all did at home?
Yeah. I took pictures of my feet and put them on the internet. How much would it... Nah, it's okay. This is the second time I've made a joke about selling pictures of feet on the internet, but I cannot tell you who I was. Previously, it was a conversation I was having with Jed. I can say that. But I cannot tell you who we were talking about, unfortunately.
I appreciate you keeping my anonymity.
I made a promise to Rudy. I mean, to someone that I wouldn't talk about it.
It's not me. It's not. I'm not that Rudy. Like the Twitter handle says. Different Rudy.
Different
not
Rudy.
that Rudy.
The other Rudy who works at A10.
The other Rudy. Yeah, different guy. Not me. If it was me, my Twitter handle would be I'm that Rudy or that Rudy. Yes, that Rudy.
I think my parody Rudy Salazar Twitter account is gonna be, you're gonna do at JB Brisco with an E, and mine is going to be at not that Rudy. It just says Rudy 3 times.
It's terrible.
It's pretty good.
I cringe when I hear that chant. Jon Favreau's in that movie, though.
I've never seen it.
I eventually saw it. Oh, man, it might have been until I was in college before I finally watched the movie. And that's when I first saw. I was like, oh, I know that guy. That's Happy from Iron Man.
I need you to go ahead and turn off your microphone so I can ask you a question directly here. We're going to do a little sort of behind the scenes, what happened in the Suns game. Was that 8
Frank
again?
the Tank.
Oh, Frank's back, baby. Let's go.
Frank the Tank is just draining it out here.
Still 7-point game, 9 minutes left in the first half.
That jump shot's you gotta give it to me. That Porter Jr. jump shot is beautiful.
Oh no, dude, 100%.
It might be the only thing that he can do. No. Beautiful.
No, dude, Michael Porter Jr. He looks like the best dude on the floor the 12 games a year that he plays.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. The jump shot just looks good.
This must be how Chris Paul 3. Let's go.
I don't think that was Chris Paul.
It wasn't. I'm sorry.
That was Javon Carter.
It sure was.
That was the West Virginia Javon Carter.
You know what happened there?
What was that?
I saw a bald head.
And somebody shoot the ball well from 3. And yeah, I totally get why you would assume Chris Paul.
I saw a bald head. This TV has 7 pixels. I saw a bald head and an absolute raindrop. And
there's no reason why you should think that was Javon Carter, because Javon Carter
he's been great.
Does not do that kind of stuff typically.
He's been excellent. I've become a big Javon Carter fan. I liked watching him at West Virginia.
Yeah. Oh, he's one of those guys. And honestly, I'm surprised Frank Mason hasn't followed a similar path of being that backup point guard kind of defensive guy for 10 plus years in the league.
Is Carter bigger?
A little bit,
I think he's probably a little bit bigger.
I think he's got a couple inches, which again, when you're talking about the heights that Javon Carter and Frank Mason are, 1 or 2 inches, it matters. It's a lot. It's impactful. That extra inch, man. It's more noticeable.
Are you done?
At this point, I'm just trying to think of a way to make the liner better.
Let's take a break. We'll come back and talk about football again.
Did you know you can listen to Almost Entirely Sports anywhere, anytime? Well, you can. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
It's football season in Kansas City, and that means it's ring season. So as KC hunts for another championship, there's no need to hunt for the best tasting light beer in town. You can run it back this season with the great taste of Miller Lite and enjoy greatness on the football field and in your beer. The official great taste of football in Kansas City, Miller Lite.
Please enjoy Miller Lite responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hey, Kansas City, Soren Petro here. The best view of 2020 in the rear view mirror is from the seat of a brand new 2021 Harley-Davidson. After a year of suck, live it up this year with a brand new motorcycle. See the biggest selection of 21 Harleys at Worth Harley-Davidson. New bikes are rolling in every day in all styles, colors, and models. Shop in person or check the new inventory at worthkc.com. Remember, Worth will trade for anything with a VIN. 2021 is finally here, and so are the brand new Harleys. See them today at Worth Harley-Davidson, I-29, just south of the airport.
Hi, this is Steve Burbridge with Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Thank you, 810 listeners, for your business in 2020. Wishing everyone a healthy, safe, and comfortable holiday season with the lowest utility bills. Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas.
Hello, everyone. Monty King from the Bushnell Factory Outlet here. Hey, we celebrated our 20th year in business in 2020, and we couldn't have done it without the support of you listeners and the great partnership we have formed with 810 over the years. So from all of us at the Bushnell Factory Outlet, thank you. And go Chiefs!
All right, I don't know what you want for this holiday season, but this guy right here wants practical gifts. Gifts I can use, right? Like a great razor. Harry's razors are the best razors around. Switch in 2015, and anyone you give a Harry's razor to will thank you for years to come. And right now, for a limited time, my listeners can save $5 off holiday shave sets, plus get free shipping if you use the promo code PETRO at harrys.com. They make the sharpest blades ever. Engineered in their German factory, their award-winning razors, backed by a 100% quality guarantee. And their refills are as low as $2 each, so they'll save money time and time and time again. Harry's holiday shave sets come in prepackaged, handsome holiday-themed gift boxes. You can even make it personal by engraving the razor handle. And 1% of each sale is donated back to charitable organizations. Right now, take advantage. Go to harrys.com, use the promo code PETRO to get $5 off, plus free shipping off at any Harry's limited edition holiday set. Weighted handle, 3 razor cartridges, foaming shave gel, and a travel cover, all in a great gift box. Don't give socks, give Harry's. harrys.com, promo code PETRO.
Menards is your complete plumbing headquarters. Save on over 300 kitchen and bath faucets from Moen in the store and on menards.com. Moen faucets give you a lifetime of beauty, reliability, and innovative features. Moen products are built to last. Save big on all the latest styles and finishes of Moen faucets. Now at Menards. Savings are good until January 31st.
Save big money at Menards.
Chiefs versus Bills. Pregame starts tomorrow at 5 p.m. with 24 hours of pregame on Sports Radio 810 WHB. You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Little kids get a once-in-a-lifetime chance to play on the ice during intermissions of NHL games, and it's adorable. Last night, one of those kids decided to go rogue and use his time in the spotlight to blank. Beards, what's your best guess?
Poop on the ice.
I now will add the end of this sentence, which is to blank twice.
With Joshua Brisco.
Take one more guess from you. This kid used his time in the spotlight to blank twice.
I mean, poop on the ice still fits there.
Sorry, we were looking for fight gritty.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I'll remind you one more time that you can hear both conference championship games this weekend right here on Sports Radio 810, and that we are going to have so much coverage starting Saturday afternoon. I believe right around 5 o'clock, which would take us up to a good old-fashioned 24-ish hours of Chiefs pregame. You'll have to let us fudge the numbers a little bit because we're going to give you Packers and Buccaneers first. But while that game is playing, you can go over to ESPN Kansas City and you can hear the Central Bank of the Midwest pregame show be replayed down there if you missed it the first time down here on Sports Radio 810. If you don't care about the NFC Championship game, that will be over on ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM. Nuggets Suns is heating up. They're trading buckets now. This game's going to be real close at halftime, and it's going to determine, are they playing back-to-back nights or back-to-back games?
No, back-to-back nights in Phoenix.
I mean, I feel like if they split this series, we'll be able to talk to each other on Sunday, and that'll be fine. But if either team sweeps that series, there's gonna be some pain on Sunday for both of us. For one of us,
you'll get through it.
I'll eventually just stop. I'll just get tired of making fun of you and your bad team. Oh, what a shot. Who was that?
It was a good timing.
See, Bridges. Mikal Bridges has been so good. He's been so good.
He has been good.
Oh, he's been so good. Did Jamal Murray just got the ball stuck in the rim?
Every now and then, like his, because he changes up like his accessories essentially, right? And tonight, and every now and then he'll rock the "I look like a 40-year-old man playing pickup ball" look.
Does he have one leg sleeve on?
Yeah, and it's just like he's got the and it's like the short white socks that like go just above the shoe, so it's the old man playing pickup ball look. Every now and then he busts it out. I'm never a huge fan of it.
The one sleeve leg, yeah. Listen, I mean, Jamal Murray balls out. We've known that for a long time.
It's true.
Anywho.
I like winning.
I love Drew Brees. Ooh, I'm going to make this admission real quick because I forgot about this. Also, I want to play sort of the first answer from Patrick Mahomes here in a second. Rudy, if you can pull that up. But I will say this. I don't know if we've mentioned for more than 30 seconds that Phillip Rivers has retired. He ended up going a billion years to the Chargers 1 year in Indy and then hung it up. He lived in California for basically 20 years and then played in Indianapolis one season. I was like, actually, I'm good.
This isn't for me.
I'm going to go settle down, maybe finally have some kids.
Really want to start my own family.
Really want to start a family.
I've always wanted a big family, and it's just a little too small right now. Mikal Bridges just hit 3 threes in a row.
Was it 3 in a row?
3 in a row.
Woo-hoo!
He's on a 9-0 run.
Oh God, he's fantastic. I love
He
Mikal Bridges.
is 5 for 5 from 3. He has 17 points.
More like Mikal Bridges, but the E's a 3.
A bump 5 threes.
Okay, so the E is a 3, and then the 5 is the S is a 5.
Ooh, that's good.
Who just hit that one?
I think it was Crowder.
Listen, I'm sorry, guys. I know this is bad radio. I know me and Rudy doing Nuggets Suns radio play-by-play is bad radio.
Is it? God.
I just got distracted. I don't get distracted exactly by something basically interesting to anyone else very often. I feel like I at least usually get distracted by like the AFC Championship game from 2019 last year being replayed on NFL Network right now, which is also a thing that's happening. Phillip Rivers retired. I'm gonna say this thing. I'm going to admit this now. If Phillip Rivers was a Kansas City Chief for 15 years, you would love him. I would love him.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like Phillip Rivers.
Same.
The whole dadgum, doggone.
He was the perfect villain.
Yeehaw, all that stuff. And here's the other thing. He was also, Eli Manning was worse than we're going to remember him. Phillip Rivers was better than we're going to remember him.
For sure.
Eli had the supporting cast that made him a Super Bowl champion twice. Phillip Rivers played for a cursed franchise that right now, all they can hope to do is not also ruin Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I totally understand that, like, I tweeted out basically this, and Chris Paul has 12 assists in 60 minutes.
Yeah, I saw.
I tweeted this out whenever he retired, and some people were saying, I wouldn't have liked it. The Chiefs would have been in purgatory forever. And that's not what I'm talking about. Because I think you're right. I don't think the Chiefs would have won any. They would have won more games, but no more championships, I would assume, with Rivers in that exact same window. But I think that we would like him. Because you're right, he's a good villain in a way that the NFL doesn't get very often, and he was kind of a villain in kind of an aw shucks kind of way. But then you have the yelling at the refs or whatever. When Mahomes does it, whenever Mahomes gets mad that a flag gets thrown on a defense jumping, he gets mad whenever they don't blow it dead. We're like, yeah, Pat, get him. Give him the free play.
We loved it when Travis Kelce threw a flag at a referee.
Yes, that gif. How many times have we seen that gif that I'm not going to do because I don't want it to turn into a gif of me doing that? But, like, how many times have we seen him walk behind the ref and then he shakes a Snapple bottle or whatever? Come on, like that kind of stuff is endearing whenever it's your team and you're winning. And whenever it's your opponent, you go, oh, stop being a baby, Phyllis. Like, and I understand that. This isn't me being judgy about it either. I'm not telling you should retroactively love Phillip Rivers. I don't really care. That's fine. I'm telling you, he is a legit character in a way that can be hard to find in a league that is so good at sanding out personalities like the NFL is. Do we have time to play this Mahomes clip?
We do.
Let's do that. This is Patrick Mahomes declaring himself free of the NFL's concussion protocol today.
Yeah, I actually just got out of the protocol. The week has just been a bunch of testing, a bunch of different things, just to make sure that I'm good to go and there's no lingering effects and anything like that. But everything's been good, and I've went through what all the 3-4 different doctors have said, and everything's looked well, and I'm out of it now.
That's just good news. That's just me sharing some good news with you. It sounds like Mahomes is legitimately in a pretty good place that I think we can all feel all right about. I don't think you need to be worried about where he's at. Most of these reps, no one was getting hit in practice this week anyway. He was taking the mental reps. He was doing the walkthroughs from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I think things are going to be just fine. I think he's going to look great, and I cannot wait for that game on Sunday. I'm so glad that it's very close to being here. Also on Twitch, Darth Maul Dad said, I like Rivers. How many rings would he have won if he would have gone to the Giants? I kind of think they still win one, right?
Yeah, for sure. And
then, we talked about Josh McCown briefly. I think earlier in the show we touched on it a little bit. We'll talk more about it on the other side of the AFC Championship game whenever the Texans ultimately make their move. But listen, again, Josh McCown calls the plays, and that's what's important. Oh, he doesn't? Oh, that's not what's important? Oh, darn. We'll talk about that and a bunch of other stuff with Mick Shaffer to close out the week next.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Greg Gurley here for Buck Roofing. The only consistent thing about Kansas City weather is change. There's only one company I trust, and that's the same company I called to work on my mom's house, Buck Roofing. Put this number in your phone, 913-384-2680. I'm a Jayhawk, and we know Ron's a Wildcat. The only thing we both agree on is Buck Roofing is the best roofer in all of Kansas City. Your home is probably your biggest investment, which is why you need a trusted roofing company to repair or replace your roof, and that company is Buck Roofing. When Ron Buck and his team repair or replace your roof, you know they will be here years from now to take care of anything you need for the life of your roof. Need a little help with financing? Buck Roofing can arrange that as well. For all your repair and replacement needs, call Buck Roofing, 913-384-2680 or online at rbuckroofing.com. Sleep well knowing Buck Roofing fixed the roof over your head.
The countdown to the AFC Championship is on with 24 hours of pregame coverage beginning Saturday at 5 on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Nothing but Chiefs for 24 hours leading up to Westwood One's coverage of the Chiefs and Bills live from Arrowhead right here on Sports Radio 810. So whenever you start your Chiefs tailgate, we'll be ready. The countdown to the AFC Championship on Sports Radio 810 WHB is presented by Victory Chevrolet, Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric, and CBD American Shaman.
Our friends at American Shaman have a smoking hot new product I'm just burning to share with you. Shaman Smokes come in a pack of 20. They're available in cherry, grape, menthol, and original unflavored hemp. So when you're feeling the drag, spark up a Shaman Smoke for the satisfying and relaxing effects of legal hemp. Shaman Smokes are not intoxicating and contain absolutely no nicotine. Ask for Shaman Smokes at your favorite convenience store or pick them up at your local American Shaman. Shaman Smokes from American Shaman. Life is better with the feather.
5 national championships.
Holy smokes, what a dog.
62 conference titles.
Another steal. This guy's a wizard.
15 Final Four appearances.
From way downtown. Bang.
There's only one team that can boast those numbers.
You can rock. Chalk it up.
Be a part of the Jayhawk journey all season long right here on your home for Kansas Jayhawk basketball.
Saturday, Kansas faces Oklahoma. Tip-off at 11 a.m. on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Your home for the AFC and NFC Championship games. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Sports Talk powered by fans. Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City. The power of sports.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Do you like crawfish?
Nope.
Oh, weird. Do you think we're going to play baseball this year, Mick?
Yep.
With Joshua Brisco.
This is the worst segment of radio.
I think you're wrong.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Last hour of the week, last hour of this show, first segment of the night with Mick Shaffer of 41 Action News, the verified Mick Shaffer on Twitter, at Mick Shaffer. Mick, we're back in the same room again for the first time since, like, maybe March? And I feel like probably 6.5 feet apart.
We haven't been in the same room at all.
Yeah, we've done television together, we've done radio together, but I don't
weird.
think we've been in the same room. And honestly, I got used to just not having this much personal
I know,
intimacy.
right? Well, you just walked by me, and I gave you like oh, I see this guy all the time, and
yeah.
I'm realizing now it's been months since I've seen you, and I should have given you more than just like a hey head nod or something like that.
I thought, because I watched like a little bit of, not to get political, folks, but I watched a little bit of the inauguration coverage and stuff like that. There was a lot of like masked sort of cheek kissing, kind of like, I don't know how that works, but I feel like that's got at least, your 2 layers of protection and one of the most intimate greetings that you can give to another person.
It's the new age double wrapping.
Yeah.
Double up.
Yeah. You tie a
the new
double
age.
knot, you put on double masks, then you can smooch each other on the cheeks for a good greeting.
Yes.
The French style.
Wrap it up twice. We're talking about masks now, okay?
Masks.
Talk about masks.
Whenever I flew down to Florida, I got one on one of those big old metal death birds to see my family over Christmas.
Those don't. Hey, we haven't had like one of those metal death birds go down in like over a decade.
But now it's all the people inside of it that you're afraid of, not even it itself.
Sure.
But I that was a whole double mask thing, and I feel like it must have worked.
Yeah.
Got one of the slightly kind of fancier, not the good masks. I don't have good mask money. But you double up. What's been your mask go-to? You got a kind of like a fancy Under Armour style
Home Depot,
one here.
and this is disgusting. What I'm about to show you. Look at all the makeup on the
inside.
Right?
Oh wow!
It sucks in that at 41 Action News, they've been very vigilant. We don't just preach it; we live it. Our rule is 10 feet, and our newsroom is bare bones. Most of the time, there's like 5 or 6 people in there for an area built to fit like 80.
Yeah.
And so the anchors are all in there now. I wasn't for months. Now I get to be back, but there's just one sports person in at all times. But anytime I get up to move, and I'm good, I kind of have a office area. It's more than just a cubicle. So I can go back and forth between computers and everything. But if I'm to go out into the newsroom, go to the restroom, go upstairs to get a snack, go to talk to anybody, I got to put the mask on. And that includes when I go to the flash cam, the newsroom camera, which is where we anchor our sportscast now. I got to put that thing on and got the makeup on. There's no avoiding it. And so this thing needs watch. So this is a nice one. This is like $14 at Home Depot. I don't know if it does anything the others do whatsoever, but I literally have probably 20 masks. Every member of my my daughter and my wife probably have that many. The boys are all. It's like they're surprised we're in a pandemic every day. We're in the car. Got your mask? No. Go inside. What? I mean, we can't do anything. Abe, you play your basketball games in a mask, right? You go to school.
Do they really?
Yeah, they have to.
I didn't know that.
At the middle school level, I don't believe at the high school level they're being forced to, but at the middle school level they do. And so, yeah, I'm like, every day this is a thing, but every day you forget them.
You're somehow surprised by it.
Yes,
Yeah, wow.
yes. But in our house, we have no less than like 60 to 70 masks, which is good because we lose them all the time. Like, I'll I put these pants on today.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's where this one is.
my makeup mask.
Yeah, there
I'm the
it
gross
is.
ones in
Or
my
I got
pockets.
the hoodie. I'm like, oh, there's 2 in here.
Yeah.
I've been looking for this one.
My move a while ago was if we're on the radio, so people can't see this, but you guys can see this.
Yeah.
The blue surgical medical mask. That's like your standard.
Yeah, I don't like the looks of those.
I don't like the looks of those either. What I bought was some disposable black versions of that, and now this fits my whole aesthetic still.
Yeah.
I've got the disposable medical surgical grade or whatever.
Yeah.
But I still look freaking cool, Like I look like a cool dude.
I don't like the regular ones. It looks like you just forgot when you went into QT and they gave you that one for free.
Yeah.
It's like, are you really committed to this mask wearing? Because you just got the regular one, the only one that existed, a year ago before this all started. I feel like you need one with the sports team on it. Okay. Or some flowers. Or some sort of ornate design.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm not buying your commitment.
Yeah. The blue mask is very much someone forced me to put this on. It's what was available. The Air Lebo, we call it around here, because that's the only thing that Lebo ever wears. Lebo's a big anti-masker. I don't know if people know that.
Great.
I keep those, like a pack of those in my car for just in case I forget or something, right?
Because they always break, too. At least the ones I had were so cheap. But and I'd have to just hold it around my ear the one time. That's the only option I had. So I'm in a QT. I've got my arm up the entire time. Sorry, it's got it broke around the ear. Just holding it up. Yeah.
I was actually in QT today, and a lady with no mask.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't
now,
tell
she was
you.
moving very quickly, so I don't know if she forgot and was just thinking, hey, I'm just trying to get in and out here. Just make this happen.
I can't tell you the last time I saw somebody with that,
It's been a
which
while.
is good.
Yeah.
And it kind of mutes the people, or it should mute the people, like, just wear a damn mask to save it. I'm like, hey, everybody is.
We are,
right?
because, yes.
There's other stuff that's going on,
Yeah.
too, right? There's house parties and, probably people that wear masks, and it's not helping or whatever. Yeah, but, I mean, almost literally 100%. I see.
Yeah, this is the first time it's been a while. I went ahead and got the 3-pack of the Charlie Hustle with the KC Hart.
Those are nice.
It's nice.
Very soft.
Yeah, it's a good
It
look.
makes my face feel nice and smooth. Like it's just comfortable.
I like to know that I can lose it or throw mine away, and it's not gonna end my life, because I'm very much in the place of like. They're just everywhere.
Yeah,
they're just everywhere. I've got the the little things on a door that you can hang up that has like all the little plastic pockets and stuff. What would you call that?
I don't know. We hang ours on just like the keychain.
Got
things.
that.
Yeah.
Got some where the keys get hung. But there's also the thing on the back of the door that I will have I have like beanies in, or like a pair of like winter gloves or whatever.
Yeah.
But now the top row is just like, there's the one that looks like a bandana. There's the one that's like tie-dye. There's the Chiefs one my mom got me for Christmas. I've got I've got an arsenal, and still the black disposable ones. They're the clutch. They're the clutch choice for me.
I'll come over every night and I'll hang my keys. What's where we hang the masks now too? I'll hang my keys on the hook. Then I get the next day, I take my keys off. 3 masks fall off because there have been other masks that I put on over the keys. Every time I pick up the mask, I put them back on. Yeah, it's part of everyday life now, isn't it?
The weird thing about that is that that has become very, very normal now. Like, we're just you wear a mask, and if you don't wear a mask, it doesn't even register unless you see someone not wearing a mask. Like, that's very much the norm.
Yeah.
But obviously a year ago, that would have seemed crazy. And, knock on wood, in 3 years, they're going to be kids that we have to like explain that to in a way that, and I'm guessing that everyone who's lived through this in late childhood or adulthood we'll just always have a pack of masks now. Not even because we're hoarding them, but because we bought a bunch of them.
I think there will be, in 3 years, there will be a lot of people, a good segment of the population, even if it is, you get the herd immunity, the vaccinations are so readily available, there will be a segment of the population that wears masks when they go out all the time.
Also, by the way, if wearing masks during the winter, like, just keeps us all from giving each other the flu and stuff, it hasn't been that big of an upset for me. You know what I like? I like not getting the flu, and I guess that probably also works. No, I haven't. I haven't in a minute.
Oh
boy, really?
I've had it a couple of times.
Dirt don't hurt. Your dirt don't hurt, Mick.
Something like that.
You don't get sick.
No, I would. Like, I used to get strep all the time. That was the one that took me down.
I got bronchitis one of the first years I was working here, and I was still in college and everything, and I was just like, I think I averaged like 4 hours of sleep every night and all of that. And at one point I got bronchitis, and that was just my next week. I wouldn't recommend it personally. I don't like it.
Unlike this, I mean, I don't ever really remember being tested for the flu. It's just like, okay, I feel down and out.
Oh, for sure.
This is what I'm gonna take a couple days off.
Yeah.
This is what you take. You wait it out. It's a virus. It goes away.
Yeah.
And so this has been very different.
It's very weird. It's just going to be a weird time to look back on.
Yeah, I can't wait to look back on it. Because, I mean, listen, I wear masks everywhere, but I hate masks. I hate wearing them. It sucks.
Have you come around during the winter at all? Because when you're outside in the cold,
because I wear glasses a lot, and now I can't wear glasses near as much because of all my masks, there's none that, like, take my breath and push it downward. It all goes up through the little nose hole and right into the lenses of my glasses, whether it's sunglasses or it's my regular prescription glasses, and every breath they fog up, man.
Yeah, my eyes are fine, so I don't have. I got good eyes,
and then
so it doesn't really...
I love stocking caps.
Love a beanie,
but you gotta do mask first, then glasses, then stocking cap. You can't go in any other order. If you go stocking cap first, you ain't getting that mask on. The glasses are gonna be weird. It's an ordeal.
Headphones are a whole thing. Are you in? What are you? Whenever you're out and about, you're listening to music. What are the things that you're listening to music through?
Just headphones.
Are you a wired headphones? Are you an AirPods guy? You got AirPods money, right?
My kids
You're
have
on-
our
you're on-
AirPods money.
You're on
Yes.
you're on TV. You can do.
Our
can
kids
get some
have our
AirPods.
AirPods. They have AirPods. I don't need AirPods. I think that's whatever. So I'm connected. I'm wired.
Okay. Because
So like today on the treadmill.
Yeah.
I was watching
you're a
something on
treadmill
phone.
guy.
When it's 20 degrees out, absolutely.
I had you on like a stationary bike. Like maybe.
No, I've never done that.
Wow. Huge upset.
Real thing.
Would not have put you
And
on a
trust
treadmill.
me, when it's warm out, I'm going feet on pavement there.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So you're on the treadmill today.
But no, I'm just saying that's what I used today was the wired headphones. Yeah.
The wired headphones. If you ever are listening to anything when you're out and about, you've got headphones, glasses, oftentimes beanie, mask.
Yeah.
The ears have really become kind of the MVP of the year 2020.
They're
Think
like
of
your
all the
key-
work we've
they're
asked
like
them
the
to
key
do.
hooks. That's where you hang everything
yes,
now.
Everything's just getting hung around your ears. Sometimes the mask is just dangling there. People are just holding it, just letting it hang.
Yeah, if we didn't have ears, glasses, what would they look like? How would we keep them on our face?
That's such a good question. If we didn't have ears, I guess Rudy had to step out for a minute, and I'm peeling the curtain back for this one because I want to propose this question to Rudy, a fellow glasses wearer like you. You guys with your bad eyes.
Mm-hmm.
The question that just came up, Rudy, was if we didn't have ears, what would glasses look like? And believe it or not, that was a question that Mick asked.
Yeah, how would they stay on our face?
I mean, you would have to get like essentially like the goggles.
Ski goggles is exactly what I was thinking of, or like a pair of
Even then, like they would have it wouldn't be like they would still be a little hard to keep on because again, part of the reason why they fit is because of the ears, but they would be you would just have to have tighter.
Yeah.
Maybe it's sort of like you do the strap around the sides and then over the top like a catcher's mask.
Sure. Probably.
With just a big thing of goggles there. Fashion would change. Fashion would change a lot because you'd have to get into this earless world.
Well, you wouldn't, hear anybody making fun of you.
If nobody had ears, yeah.
That's a great point. Well,
it'd just be normal.
I guess we solved it.
Like, man, looks like that person's making fun of me, but I can't tell.
I would have no way of knowing. I'm in that stage right now where I kind of feel a sneeze about halfway buffering, and so I'm not. I was gonna say that and then just throw like a sports question at you so you can talk while I sneeze.
Do you
but
look at
now
the light to sneeze?
It's gone away.
Do you look at the light to make you sneeze?
Is that a thing? I feel like you've mentioned this before.
It's a thing. It's actually in people's DNA. There are some people that
I'm looking at the light.
That are genetically disposed to have the light make them sneeze.
My eyes are starting to kind of like get slightly unpleasant. How long does it take, do you think?
No. If it doesn't happen right away, it's not going to work.
Okay, I'm not a light sneezer. I am seeing dots now.
That would be the light.
Between Mick, between me seeing lights whenever I blink and being a little dizzy and feeling like I might have a little sneeze, you know what I might need right now?
Concussion protocol?
I might need the concussion protocol, Mick. Now listen, Patrick Mahomes, I don't know if you heard, but Patrick Mahomes cleared the concussion protocol today. He will be playing quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. Mick, your thoughts?
I'm sure, when that was announced this afternoon at 1 or 1:30, alarms went off at Buffalo Bills headquarters.
Yes.
This is not a drill. This is happening. We have to scrap all our game plans for Chad Henne, and then the game plans we had for Matt Moore as well. This guy named Patrick Mahomes is going to start at quarterback. Let's start preparing for him.
Yeah, because they've been thinking. Listen, he's in the protocol. They've been going Henne. Oh no, they're playing. I guess they're backup. I don't know much about but apparently their young up and comer is playing now. Did you have at what moment did you have the most doubt that Mahomes would play, and how much doubt was it?
It was when he was ruled out Sunday was probably the most doubt. Just because I know the protocol. Mm-hmm. I know how hard it really is. People get cynical about it, but it's hard. You can't fool them like you used to anymore and we haven't really found this out yet. It might not have even been a concussion.
Yeah.
And he was in the concussion protocol. That's all it takes. You just get in the area. It's like the targeting rule. Just kind of head and neck area. When you're just getting close, right around here, we're going to take it ultra serious, and they do, and they did. But once I kind of thought about it, and I saw him, and look, I know every concussion's different, and this really didn't matter as far as the protocol went, but it did with me. When I saw him a minute after he struggled to get up, right? He had jelly legs, and he was on another planet. A minute after that, he is sprinting to the locker room, and they showed him taking those stairs with his cleats on, and he's just as athletic as ever, and he's turning, he's got his cleats on, and he's just fine. Once I saw that, I realized, okay, it's not about him clearing the concussion protocol. It's when does he enter it? Because you have to be symptom-free.
Right.
Yeah. But once he enters it, he's going to blow right through it. Right, because he's Patrick Mahomes, he's ultra-athletic.
Everything that he does.
Right. Step 2 of light aerobic exercise, I think he's going to be fine.
Probably fine.
I think he's going to be okay with that.
If I had to go through concussion protocol and clear light aerobic exercise, I might be listed with a concussion for the rest of my life. I don't know.
Yeah. You sure you don't have just a eternal concussion here?
That's what it feels like,
Josh.
sometimes.
At all times, you might have one. But yeah, so and it looks like he did, and I think the Chiefs are more cautious about it than other teams. From hearing Aaron Borgman talk, he's like, look, there's some entities out there, organizations, teams, whatever, that'll take it maybe 2 steps a day, but the Chiefs are going to do 1 step a day and make sure everything is hunky-dory, and they did, and it was in plenty of time. And the cool thing is that, I mean, you can be in the concussion protocol and you can still be at practice.
Right.
Because part of that is light workouts and some football activity, and we saw that on Wednesday and Thursday, and then on Friday again. And it's crazy how, I mean, it's right after practice. Andy Reid talked, and he was in the concussion protocol. 10, 15 minutes later, there was Patrick Mahomes at the podium talking.
Yeah. You mentioned the idea that we still don't actually know if he may or may not ever have had the concussion.
I can't believe it wasn't asked today.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. And this gets dark. I've given people this warning before. I've made this point a couple times now. But think about when we learn about, like, subconcussive hits and guys who have CTE and stuff, and when we see the damage done, it's an autopsy. We don't have great technology at this point for actually verifying what's happening inside your brain. You can't look at it like your knee ligaments, right? So whenever it looks, my understanding is that if it looks like a concussion, you just treat it as a concussion, and if you clear the protocol, you clear the protocol.
Yeah,
that works either way.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's ever going to be a way to know how. I mean, maybe Rick Burkholder will talk to the media in 6 months and someone will remember to ask that question. But I don't know if we're ever going to know. I'm not sure if the Chiefs are ever going to know for sure.
I would imagine that Mahomes himself, at least, has been told, and they have some sort of idea on it all, and at least educated guesses.
For sure.
But and it might be, look, he might say, hey, it's none of your business, and this is my health, and that's just fine answer. But I was shocked that it wasn't asked because that seemed to be kind of the crux of the whole thing. But he's out of it, and hopefully he stays healthy on Sunday. And because my son had a concussion in the football state championship game this year, and had to be pulled in the second quarter, and he wasn't sprinting in the locker room. I mean, he had, it was your quintessential concussion, memory loss, just severe headache, sensitivity to light and to sound. And he could barely walk, dizzy. And so they got him in the locker room, and the trainer was like, this is the toughest pull I've ever had to make because I know it's a state championship game, what it means to him. I'm like, no, I get it. It's not like I didn't have to do the dilemma of, like, him being ready to go and saying he's fine.
Right.
And the doctor saying, I don't know, he had the symptoms. And being that dad, I mean, he could barely walk. So
he had like the cartoon, like birds flying around his head.
Yes, there was no decision whatsoever for anybody to have to make. I mean, the trainer was like, if I send him back out there, I lose my job. So I'm like, I get it. So, and they brought him out. I mean, second half, they're like, we just want to get him back on the field so we can celebrate with his team and watch the second half. And so they had earbuds in, he had shades on, and they had taken his pads off. And by the end of the night, he was fine. The headaches were gone, and a couple of days later, they were gone for good. But it's funny, like he went through like this 4-step protocol to get back, which was very similar. I think the only step missing was clearance and being able to play, but there was no other game after that.
Right.
So it was very similar. I think it's kind of a universal thing across all levels of sports and all sports. And he's clear of it. And now the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. They're going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, it's just over then. The game's just done. You've played it already.
If he plays, they're going to win, and he's going to play. Yeah, they're going to win. I don't feel like that's any sort of bold stance I'm taking because he's done that 24 of the last 25 games. He's gone out to play football.
Yeah. My thing, what I want to see, here's the thing. I'll take them winning on a game-winning field goal by Harrison Butker from, just at least as it's longer than 33 yards, we're good.
Right, sure.
But I really want to see the Chiefs just kind of come out, especially with like the close wins. Like, I don't know if they can flip the switch on just to come out and just. You don't have to win this game by 30 or anything, but just handle them.
I know.
Just come out, win by 10, and just a game where you never feel like it's ever in doubt. Just handle them.
I'm thinking the same thing, and I kind of get the feeling, okay, it could be a Mahomes coming back, like, hey, remember me type game.
Yeah.
But I've been kind of trying to buck that trend with like my predictions on 8-10 the last several weeks of all those one-score games, and I have yet to do it. So I think you've broken me.
Yeah.
So earlier I gave my prediction, and I gave a one-score win for the Chiefs. But I'm not. Look, I get how it works this late in the season. Everybody's capable of winning,
for sure.
And if you're the underdog team, you're going to be built up, and they're going to find reasons why the Bills can go out and just beat the Chiefs without, even with Patrick Mahomes on the field. I remember being in New England, and it's cool the Chiefs are at this point. I remember being in New England after the 2016 season, it was January 2016, right, when they played there in the playoffs. And I was like, I think the Chiefs can win this. I mean, have you seen the linebackers for the Patriots? Are you kidding me? You find the little weak spots,
Absolutely.
and you fail to mention Belichick and Brady, 100%. Right? Element and all that stuff.
100%.
Right? No, I mean, really, the Dolphins, they played them close. They played them close in December.
They played them close every year.
That loss, it's the end of the Dynasty's coming. It's coming to the end. It's a different Patriots team. And the Chiefs never had a chance in that game. So now all the talking is on the other side with the Browns last week. I feel we're hearing it with the Bills. And like I said, it doesn't mean there's no chance of them winning. It's the NFL. Sure. Everything's close. But we're to that point to where a lot of the experts are forgetting about Patrick Mahomes, forgetting about Andy Reid, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and being like, well, that defense, right? Isn't the best in the world? No, it's not, but Patrick Mahomes. That's the answer to everything.
I heard.
Yes, they don't have a running back, but Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. I heard a good one today. It was on ESPN. I forget who said it, where they think the Bills are going to win because the Chiefs are too top-heavy.
Yeah, whatever that.
What does that mean?
It means because
it doesn't mean
spend
anything.
so many players on so much money on their best players. When your best players are good, that's good. But when they're bad, that means you don't have the depth.
They were top heavy all year.
It's Patrick Mahomes.
What does that mean?
It's Patrick
nothing. Doesn't mean anything.
Yes, the Chiefs have a lot of really, really, really good players and you know what? Those guys they're really good players because every game they're really good.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes is really good every day.
Travis Kelce has not had a bad game in 3 years. Yeah. The one thing that I think is so funny about that, and is genuinely interesting, is how long did it take for the Patriots to be that team? Because it was a little bit.
It took time.
Yeah, it probably did. I don't know. I just from the vantage point of the Chiefs playing them in the playoffs, which was like I said, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was the Alex Smith days.
Right.
That wasn't the AFC Championship game I'm talking about. So maybe, I don't know, a few years into their run and everything, there were the other, there were Colts fans or whatever.
It was at least 2 Super Bowls, though, I'd have to think. Because the first one they won, they were a big underdog and everything. And the Chiefs went from being that underdog team to Andy Reid. Everybody wanted Andy Reid to win a Super Bowl. Everybody wanted Andy Reid to win his first one. Patrick Mahomes, last year's the MVP. This year he has this knee injury. Oh, man, he's so electric. And this year, it's the Browns and it's the Bills and it's going to be the Packers or the Bucks and whatever. The Chiefs went from being the team that everyone is collectively rooting for to the team that everyone is collectively rooting against so flipping fast. I've never seen that happen that quickly.
That's how it works.
I'm guessing some of it, too, might be because the fact that, obviously, Brady's been a good quarterback for his entire career, but those early Super Bowls were not built around Tom Brady just throwing the ball all over the place, right? So, there was a little bit of Brady. He had that underdog, right? He's a 6th-round draft pick. He's not necessarily coming out here to lighten up the world, whereas Patrick Mahomes in his first season starter is like, I'm breaking the league. I'm the best player here. I don't need time to get ready.
Yeah, the Chiefs' dominance started before last season, probably the start of the year before, and they saw how good they were, how good Mahomes were. So maybe that's when the kind of the narrative was beginning with them. But Didn't Brady have to beat Jake Delhomme one Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yep.
There was nobody.
Yeah.
There was nobody gonna say.
Yeah,
You know, I think the Panthers could actually. No.
How much do you think that game was decided by? The way?
Actually, that was a close game.
It was a
all
three-point game.
They were all close. That's
say,
the good thing.
Vinatieri had in that first, they're like the 3 or 4. Vinatieri, I believe, had 2 game-winning field goals against McNabb and Delhomme. I think. Was it the Rams? I think was the third Super Bowl title.
Yeah, so the Patriots beat the Rams in that first one, which again they were the underdogs for.
And then they beat the Eagles.
Kurt
and
Warner was the quarterback.
Panthers.
I'm assuming.
I think that's right, Rudy. Right. So then the year after that was Bucks Raiders. And then the year after that, the Patriots won again. So they won 2 out of 3 years. They beat the Panthers.
They won 3 out of 4, right?
I'm guessing at that point there was a breaking point of what you think about it. And then they go and they beat Andy Reid's Eagles. And then now it's 3 out of 4.
But then they went 10 years.
They didn't win for another decade though. Yeah,
they were good.
They were good. They were in Super Bowls. They lost 2 Super Bowls in there, and they were
Giants got them twice.
AFC Championship game probably just about every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
14 for Brady.
14
AFC championship games,
and then 1 NFC right now.
Yeah. So I bet it's.
I think it's 13 and 1.
I think that's right.
13 AFC, one NFC. Yes.
And it's funny.
Total.
Yeah, and so people bag on Andy Reid, and this is certainly the area of the playoffs and of the season every year where he's had the least success. I mean, he didn't get to a Super Bowl until last year. This is his 8th championship game.
Mm-hmm.
If he makes it to a Super Bowl this year, all of a sudden the script isn't what it used to be. That's 3 out of 8. You're 3 and 5 in championship games. There are worse things in the world, right there. You're one off from being 500, which I think would be every coach's goal. If I get there, I want to get to a Super Bowl half the time when I'm on the doorstep. And like I said, I think he's going to do it, and I think he could get to 500 very quickly. Then after that, with this team. And with Mahomes, and I think just the back of Andy Reid's baseball card begins to change more and more.
Yeah, it really. I do think that the conversation. I think to some extent he won't get all the credit for Patrick Mahomes looking like Patrick Mahomes because he's going to break all of these records. But I do think the back of the baseball card sort of way of looking at it is really interesting because his extension takes him through 5 years after this one. I think that he signed.
Yeah.
Let's say he coaches all those years. Which at this point, I would probably bet on unless something like happens and he's around. I think
he's
a football life. I think that the stat I came up with was that if he finishes his contract, he'll be at that point the age that Pete Carroll is right now.
Yeah,
which is unbelievable. I'm gonna double check on that. But if he wins 3 titles here, and then you have that stat of the Eagles hosted 3 consecutive conference championship games. Did it again here. The only 2 teams to ever do that 3 times in a row is on Andy Reid's side on the NFC and the AFC. I mean, his resume starts to really round out, and the only little deficits that were left, as of 2 years ago.
Well, yeah, last year at this time, those championship game losses and the Super Bowl losses were looked as failures, right?
Yeah.
For him, you win a couple of Super Bowls, they're lumped in with your accomplishments. Because they are accomplishments to get that far. Not everybody can win every year. Nobody has it in their DNA that they can't win the big game. Everybody can't until they do, and then we move on to the next guy that hasn't won it, who's great. And so I think he can drastically change things and enter into the pantheon of great NFL head coaches here in these next few years.
Andy Reid will turn 63 in March. Pete Carroll is 69.
70, yeah.
Not quite 70. There's a nicer number than that. Mick Shaffer, 41 Action News. We'll keep talking to him whenever we come back.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Championship Barbecue is now available at your fingertips with the new Joe's Kansas City Barbecue online ordering app. Place your order for the legendary Z-Man or Rocket Pig sandwiches, slabs of ribs, or a burn-end dinner right now. It's just a few clicks from your smartphone, and your order will be hot and ready for curbside pickup. The new Joe's Kansas City Barbecue app is perfect for a weeknight dinner with the family or feeding your entire office. So don't wait. Download the brand new Joe's Kansas City Barbecue app today.
If we learned anything in 2020, it's that life is unpredictable. There are some things that you just can't control. All the more reason why you need to appreciate and hold tight those special people in your life. That relationship you know you can count on no matter what. At Diamonds Direct, your love is our passion. Your relationship is why we exist, and we stand ready to help you create those memorable moments in 2021 that celebrate and solidify those unbreakable bonds. Our selection of precious rare diamonds has never been greater. From a simple 1-carat princess cut to a breathtaking 10-carat round brilliant, we have your perfect diamond in stock every day at the guaranteed best value price in America. And even in unpredictable times, Diamonds Direct's commitment to you will never waver. We promise the largest selection, the highest quality, the best value, the strongest warranties, and the most unforgettable experience. So as life gets back to normal this new year, remember, cling to the ones you adore by showing them how much they mean to you. And we'll always be here to help. Diamonds Direct.
At 119th and Row.
As stressful as moving can be, the best thing is eliminating as much of it as you can. That's where Let's Get Moving came in for us. Hey everyone, Jason Anderson here, and when we knew we were officially making the move, the only choice was the highest rated local moving company in Kansas City. Local guys that started the company to make the moving experience more personally designed for you. Let's Get Moving is a full service company. Local moves, long distance moves, residential and commercial. When you want to make the move smooth and stress free, Let's Get Moving is the company. Check them out at letsgetmovingllc.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/news. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Do you have chronic joint pain, not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way, and now it's available in our area from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics, now off 435 and State Line. This is Stephen St. John, and I'm talking about new therapies, advanced all-natural regenerative cell treatments that not only give you relief, but speed up the process of healing and repair. If you've got pain in your knees, shoulder, lower back, hips, or pain from arthritis, or even pain from an old injury, you need to learn more about these potent new regenerative solutions. Call now for a free consultation. QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. These remarkable new treatments increase mobility, decrease pain, and restore tissue. They actually allow your body to heal itself. Regenerative medicine is here. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics off 435 and State Line, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I was face to face. I'm a social beast, you know, okay?
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Mick Shaffer, 41 Action News, here with us on Almost Entirely Sports, closing out the week leading up to the AFC Championship game. We, listen, you know I hate to talk too much sports with you, Mick, but since you're here, we've talked about how you've got an extreme confidence the Chiefs are going to win this game. I found myself really yesterday going back to the first matchup between these teams, because last segment you even mentioned, the Chiefs' defense isn't as good as his offense is, which is true. They gave up 17 points against the Bills last time. Spags versus Josh Allen. Spagnuolo won that matchup the first time through, and I keep finding myself going back to that game and thinking we're not spending quite enough time on how dominant the Chiefs ended up being on both sides of the ball in that first matchup.
They didn't even have to use Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. That's right.
That's how dominant.
Yeah.
And then Corey Anderson's stats, unreal. I think he's the one that came up with it, or he purports himself to be the one that came up with it.
I'll let you know whenever I tweeted this. And
right.
Yeah.
in the last 5 years, there's been one game where a defense hasn't blitzed, not one time in the NFL, and that was that game.
I think you said that on the air last night, right? Rudy?
Yeah, because I was filming for the Zone this week.
I'll credit you.
Obviously.
Rudy Salazar.
That's a Rudy original. Hey, Rudy. Just go with it.
I'll take it.
Yeah, just go with it. It's unbelievable. And honestly, that's one of the things from that game that I think they probably should bring over just because Mahomes has been so good at against the blitz.
Also,
you got to pick your spot. Maybe you try it once or twice.
The Chiefs, because I heard this morning too, they blitzed Josh Allen. It was close to 60%.
I was gonna say I bet it was the majority
of the time. It was close to 60%, and Josh Allen did not handle the blitz well. Now since then, he has been one of like Patrick Mahomes throughout his career has been one of the best quarterbacks against the blitz. But Josh Allen just since that game, I believe, has the best numbers against the blitz. Obviously, that is it is. I mean, it's becoming a pretty big sample size at this point because that game was a while ago, but it's not a multi-year trend yet.
It's also funny just because in the Chiefs game, the Bills obviously lost, and they got blown out by the Titans the week before. Since then, the teams they've played, I'll give you the teams they've beaten: Jets, Patriots, Seahawks, pretty good win. Chargers, Niners, Steelers, Broncos, Patriots, Dolphins. None of those teams, the Chiefs, they lost to the Cardinals in there. Yeah. I'm following kind of your path of this bombastic confidence at this point, Mick, because they could absolutely lose this game. It's the NFL, the AFC Championship. Everybody gets it.
And the Bills are a good team.
I'm having a harder and harder time coming up with an argument to make on behalf of the Bills.
I am too. I mean, that winning streak that they have, is it going in? Was it 6 straight they had won going into the playoffs or something like that?
That's right. So now it's 8 with 2 playoff wins.
One was against the playoff team, and that was the Steelers, who at the end weren't really a playoff team. They have 3 wins against playoff teams this season. They're 3-2 against playoff teams. Now, obviously, they've won 2 playoff games. You want to throw that in there as well. But the Chiefs beat on the road 4 of the final 8 teams.
It's crazy.
And they're one of them. So basically 4 of the other 7 teams the Chiefs beat on the road in the regular season, and they lost to 0 playoff teams.
Yeah.
So that matters to me, I think. And look, count me as one of those guys that I'm not sugarcoating the whole close game things of like, oh, it's a strength. They're so good. They just win by – I think it is a strength. I mean, to be able to win those close games – I don't think it's by design to have it come down every time. I think, as Travis Kelce said today, they haven't put their best game together. At least they haven't done it in a few months.
Yeah.
And so that's out there. And I think you are playing with fire when you do give up huge leads like you did to the Bucs, right? And it come down to or play a close game against a team you should be routing like the Falcons, or have to come from behind and have Pat bail you out like you did in Vegas. You're playing with fire there. And you don't want to continue that trend in the playoffs where games are naturally going to be closer. But I do like that they have figured out. For me, it's like this team's great, but I think they're almost as much like they know the formula for winning more than anything. And it comes from having done it last year. Patrick Mahomes comes from Andy Reid. They know how to get wins. So it's such a weird dichotomy. They've been so dominant in the standings and with the record, which, let's be honest, would have been 15-1 this year, number 1 seed. Yeah. But then, like, the actual games skating by the skin of their teeth so many times. So it's been just a weird dichotomy, like I said, and I'm expecting it to continue this week, winning, but then also by 1 score.
The 1 score thing is interesting, and I've had a bunch of people bring it up to me, and so I think I've gotten pretty good at sort of honing in this way of reading it. Because if you look out through football history, teams that win games closely over and over and over again, there is an element of luck there, and you do sort of flag that as something to keep an eye on, because most of the time, if you're playing close games, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. That might be reflected in your point differential or whatever, which it really isn't for the Chiefs. Their point differential is pretty good. But the thing that I think has been largely washed over, at least outside of Kansas City, is that most of those games, with the exception of at least the Falcons game, most of those games have gotten close whenever the opposing team has scored to get within 1 score, and then they never saw the ball again. Yeah. That would end up being the case against the Browns without Patrick Mahomes, obviously. That was the case against the Dolphins. That happened several times, the final score was within 1 possession, but the flow of the game was such that it never really felt like it was in genuine danger.
Right. It feels like the Chiefs let their foot off the gas every time. It's an Andy Reid staple.
And that part I think is interesting, because I'm still not sure why that keeps happening.
The guy, Andy Reid, is involved in 3 of the top 7 biggest comebacks in NFL postseason history. And only one of those 3 times has it been a good comeback. Okay? How's last year in the Texas game? He was on the other end the other 2 times, and I don't need to mention those 2 games. And so, I think there's something to that, in that maybe. But look, we saw it last year in the playoffs where they kept the kind of pedal to the metal in both those games and kind of ran away from the Texans and made sure the Titans game was a 2-score game. It's funny, the Chiefs this season have won 6 games by 2 scores or more. That's it. And obviously the last one was a long time ago in October, right? Mm-hmm. The other 3 teams have won 10, 10, and 11 games by 2 scores or more. So, like, inside those games, they've been much more dominant than the Chiefs. Chiefs obviously had the best record of all of them except for the Packers, right? We were also 14-2. So, it's just very interesting. All that being said, Chiefs are going to win. Patrick Mahomes playing, the Chiefs are going to win.
I think I know that this isn't going to move the needle nearly as much as Patrick Mahomes one way or another, but Willie Gay is out, and then Bashaud Breeland, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Rashad Fenton, Sammy Watkins, Le'Veon Bell are all questionable. Of those group of questionable guys, do any of those, again, non-Patrick Mahomes division here, by the way, no injury designation for Patrick Mahomes, do you circle in on any of those closer than the others?
Bashaud Breeland, and if he's mirroring what Patrick Mahomes is doing, and it kind of sounds like he is, it sounds like he'll play as well, and I think that's going to be big. And then after that, I mean, I'd love CEH back, but Andy Reid's proven it's like, as long as you got a running back, he's going to plug him in there, and you're going to get whatever production you need.
Yep.
We saw last week with Darrell Williams. Took Damian Williams off the scrap heap and turned him into nearly a Super Bowl MVP.
Yep.
It hasn't mattered that LaShawn McCoy and Le'Veon Bell, who is this year's LaShawn McCoy, just didn't have enough left. That Darwin Thompson gets big carries. He figures that out. So I might go Rashad Fenton after that. Just make sure that secondary is as healthy as possible, and make sure Josh Allen doesn't have a huge performance there. I would love to have Sammy back. Don't count me as the ones that say we need him back, or the Chiefs need him back, because he had a huge game against the Titans last year. And so I would say number 1 for me is Breeland.
I think even going to Fenton second, perhaps, is really interesting, because I think if you're gonna, I'm guessing this would be the direction you'd head. If you did have to build the argument for Buffalo, which is something that I've said that obviously we're both having a hard time doing, but if you had to build, like, all right, how does this go poorly? It probably goes with Antonio Hamilton is covering Stephon Diggs, and all of a sudden this game is 34 to 27. The Chiefs have the ball with 30 seconds left. Yeah. That's probably what that has to look like, right?
Yeah, basically, my comments are coming from the part of what side of the ball does Patrick Mahomes play on? Okay, I'm worried about the other side of the ball. Yeah, that's the side. Let's get the healthiest on. As long as he's there, let's figure it out on the other side.
Yeah, that seems good. All right, I think we're done with AFC Championship game talk. Let's take another break. We'll come back, wrap up the week with Mick Shaffer. 41 Action News next.
Did you know you can listen to Almost Entirely Sports anywhere, anytime? Well, you can. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here, and I am stoked that KC was able to complete a whole season of football. Now, it's the postseason. When we look back at 2020, let's remember we had KC football, and it was awesome to be a KC fan. Another great reason to be in KC is because of my favorite dealership, Roberts Robinson Chevrolet Buick GMC. They want everyone to be prepared for the ice and snow with vehicles like this 2020 Chevy Trax LT all-wheel drive SUV. This subcompact SUV is perfect for getting around in rough weather. Get extra conquest cash for trade-ins and take off over $6,300. Was $25,265, now only $18,902. Come see why customers say they just make it easy to buy a car at Roberts Robinson. Go online to robertsrobinson.com, check him out on Facebook, or call 816-630-3151 and ask for the personal shopper. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Do you have a frog? You know, a freezing room over the garage? Now that everyone is home, are you looking to convert your frog into an office, a schoolroom, or a comfortable room to escape your family? With no ductwork required, Mitsubishi Electric offers room-by-room air filtration and precise temperature control. Let's help you turn those cold, uncomfortable spaces in your house into a space you and your family will really enjoy. To learn more about Mitsubishi Electric's solutions, visit keepkccool.com today. Now, they can help you whether you need to heat it up or cool it down. Mitsubishi's got you covered. Our biggest problem here in the Sports Radio 810 control room and studio was the heat. We've got a lot of windows and a lot of radio equipment, and our Mitsubishi unit has kept us cool for years. It works like a charm, and it works quickly, and it's whisper quiet. It's been a real game changer for us at Sports Radio 810. Check them out at keepkccool.com. That's keepkccool.com today.
Hey folks, this is Nate Bucati from my friend Gary Joslin and Joslin's Jewelry. Look, in this day and age, most jewelry stores won't give you the service or knowledge that you need. If you want to work with real Kansas Cityans and get a great diamond at a great price, trust me, go to Joslin's. They're all about making friends and having long-term relationships. That's why they do such a great business with their in-house repairs. If you take your ring into one of those big box jewelry stores because it needs a repair, be prepared to pay all kinds of markups and fees that you don't need. That's not what they do at Joslin's. At Joslin's, you get an honest quote, a fair price, and the repairs that you need. And they've got a great selection of diamonds. So give them a call today at 913-341-2021, or you can look them up online at joslinsjewelry.com. Joslin's Jewelry, the jeweler you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Joslin's Jewelry for the best that's yet to come.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I can think of no two better people to spend my Friday nights with,
naked and drunk,
than Randy and Jake. I mean, Rudy and Josh.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Last segment of the hour, last hour of your week. Mick Shaffer reporting when action news. Sports Radio 810, where you can hear both conference championship games, the AFC Championship and AFC Championship game, both here on Sports Radio 810. Got 24 hours pregame that will start Saturday afternoon. I'll be a part of that from 11 to 1, I think, is my watch. And 11 to 1A, and then back on Sunday morning, 9A to 11A, and then we'll have I'm not even looking at the notes right now. I'm just not going to the dome. All sorts of coverage of the AFC Championship game here. You're home for the NFL, and you're home for both conference championships. Nick, let's play that here for anyone who may not know what we're talking about. The head coach, the new head coach of the Lions, on a 6-year deal, Dan Cannibal.
This place has been kicked, it's been battered, it's been bruised, and I can sit up here and give you coach speak all day long. I can give you, hey, we're going to win this many games. I can't. None of that matters, and you guys don't want to hear it anyway. You've had enough of that, so excuse my language. All right? Here's what I do know, is that this team is going to take on the identity of this city, all right? And the city's been down, and it found a way to get up. All right, it's found a way to overcome adversity. All right, and so this team's going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth. All right, and when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. All right, and we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. All right, and on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap. And we're going to get up. And then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing. All right, that's going to be the mentality.
So that is magical in a number of ways. I'm more or less good with sort of the, taking on the identity of the city. I've heard enough of that for about a lifetime. I did. I certainly did. Thank you. I certainly did. I've heard that enough. I've even heard, I'm gonna break in kneecaps, whatever. I've heard that. Never heard anything about biting someone's kneecap off. Does that seem physically possible to you?
It does not. It seems weird.
It seems weird.
Seems like I might draw a flag.
Yeah.
And in all his comments, it seemed like the team they're playing, pushing you down, shoving you down, is playing within the rules. But then his Lions are going to be like just felonious, I guess. It's very specific. He alarmingly specific. It reminded me of Brad Pitt in the movie Snatch when he was the pikey, and right before he fought somebody, in his mind, he planned out exactly what he was going to do. He's going to hit his jaw, he's going to pull his head down, and just do all these kind of cruel, kind of gruesome acts. And then he went out and did it. It seems like Dan Cannibal's kind of a pikey.
The other thing is, again, the whole we're going to take on the identity of Detroit thing. It sounds like what's actually happening is that they're going to take on the identity of a literal lion. Like it sounds like they're going straight into eating human flesh.
Somebody tweeted he realizes he's not coaching actual lions, right?
Right. I also don't know if it's a good look for you to say, like, listen, we're gonna get knocked down, we're gonna get up, and we're gonna get knocked down again. We are gonna get knocked down.
A lot of getting
so
knocked down.
Many
And you know what we're
times.
gonna do? We're gonna smile as we're gonna knock down.
Yeah.
We're gonna smile as you knock us down. Will it be
6-year
easy?
deal.
No, but you're gonna knock us down.
6-year contract.
We're
for
gonna
Dan
smile while we do it.
So, what is Eric Bieniemy doing when he listens to that? Is he just throwing his hands over? You're like,
Such a good
"Bruh,
question.
what are you gotta be kidding me, really?
Yeah,
What?
I would love to have gotten just a little like, security camera video of him watching of someone showing him that video. Cause I just have to think that at that point he has to just consider quitting coaching.
Yeah.
Like it's like, well, that guy. You guys think that guy.
Well, what he needs.
I'm out.
Is,
Actually, I'm
what
out.
he needs is because this is a job about titles, right? So we just gotta give Bieniemy some more titles. So not only is he the offensive coordinator, he's now the assistant to the regional manager of the head coach.
That's great. Because he can't get assistant head coach. That's Dave Tobe. He's got to be assistant to the head coach.
And Dave Tobe has shown us assistant head coach doesn't get you a head coach
Nope.
job.
Yeah.
Assistant to the head coach
clearly does.
That's
the key.
That's the key right there. No, I can't imagine it doing anything but getting worse in Detroit after seeing that.
I mean, because the crazy thing is that, like, he picked that as the presentation. Like, that's how he was going to get everybody fired up. And at the very least, and listen, this is certainly not an indicator of if this is going to be successful for them or not, but at the very, very, very bare minimum, that dude has no idea how to predict what the internet is going to latch on to.
None whatsoever.
Because that, like, as soon as you say that, you got to think, well, this is going to be my whole deal. Like, I'm going to be Dan Cannibal.
The other thing is, like, I mentioned this, Josh. I don't know if you heard this, Mick. His one of his other lines was that he was like, "Yeah, I told my agent to make sure they know that they're interviewing Matt Campbell, the Iowa State head coach,
I
not
heard
Dan
that.
Campbell." If you have to be like, "Yeah, hey, make them think it's maybe this guy," which obviously is a joke.
Yeah.
But I feel like if at any point you make that joke, you're probably not ready to be the head coach.
It was so surreal. No, I mean, how did he sell himself to the owner? Did he say, "Hey, remember Bountygate?
Yeah.
Amateurs,
Right.
child's play. That
Right.
was baby stuff. We're taking off kneecaps here."
Also, do you know how you definitely? I don't think it's in the rule book that biting off of an opponent's kneecap is a penalty.
We
or
were
not.
trying today
Probably
on the
not.
zone, trying to figure out what the referee's signal for that penalty
That's
is.
great.
You already have block or the block below the waist. You
chomp
kind of
block.
go, you hit the
Chomp.
kneecaps.
Yeah, maybe it's like a gator
like the
chomp.
gator chomp almost. So you start off with that, and then maybe it's like on
Okay.
the body part. So it's gator chomp onto the knee.
That's pretty good. I didn't hear
You
this
know?
bit, so if I go back to one of their ideas, Lynn, tell me as much. I think you go hands up to the face, almost like you're giving yourself like a little like duck beak, and kind of pinch twice as a biting motion,
Okay.
and then knee up, and then you go down and take the hands down to the kneecap, because that. Now you've got, Hocules kid out there doing aerobics, throwing flags, and just doing high knees, basically.
I think you put your wrist behind your back together in like a handcuff motion, because that's what's coming next.
Well,
You're going to be arrested.
So here's the thing. I don't know if the kneecap thing is a penalty. You know what I know is a penalty? Taking off your helmet in the field of play, which you would definitely have to do to get your teeth out there.
That's a good point.
You can't get to kneecaps with a face mask in the way. There's no chance.
That's a good point. I've never thought about that.
Also, I bet he's going to be great with COVID protocols. Last night we did a series of power rankings. I want to get your thoughts on a couple really quick. You don't even need a top 5, but just kind of the first things that come to mind here. Body parts of an opponent that you would eat in an NFL game. Because kneecap is not on my list. That's a terrible, terrible place to try to get flesh.
Well, you got to realize I'm from the farm, and I'm a piggy eater. My wife is not.
Okay.
They grew up, I mean, it wasn't human feet, but pig's feet. Ate pig feet. Cow tongue, right?
Yeah.
The ears of the cow.
All sound bad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's all
But
fried.
you're a picky eater, though, so you're
never,
gonna need like a nice, just like a hunk of calf.
So what are we asking? What
body part would you go for first?
I mean,
on an NFL field.
On an NFL field.
If I'm gonna bite it?
Yeah.
Oh boy, of another person.
Yes, opponents even.
Ideally not a teammate. Doesn't seem like a
Doesn't seem helpful.
So
seem like
I mean,
good
helmets
team
don't
chemistry.
exist in this scenario.
Well, I mean, you would have to take it off.
Right, you've taken the helmet off, and
you have his helmet on.
Yes.
I mean, if you can get it off,
that's
then fair
true.
game, but it's on.
You are going to be ejected for this. So your helmet's off.
I feel like shoulder.
Big pad. That's gonna be tough to get there.
Oh, that's right. What's left exposed? A shin maybe.
It's a lot of bone. It's kind of bone.
What is the right answer?
My
here,
number
Josh?
one
I
answer.
don't know.
My number one answer was the calf, because you get down there. There's a bunch of tendons and stuff. It's pretty flabby.
What's our intent? To like disable the person, or
whatever
to
you want
eat,
your intent.
or-
What is Dan Campbell's intent?
Yeah, I would. I mean, for me,
I
it
don't
was
know.
the Achilles because it feels like an easy, quick bite. Player's done.
My
We're good
answer is
to
going to be
go.
the hand because
That was number 2
it'll
on my
hurt
list.
somebody, it'll
I had
piss
right
them
thumb.
off,
Yeah.
but you won't come out like seemingly Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield crazy. But he just bit his hand. It's not like he bit his ear or his calf. Who would bite a calf?
I did have
Besides that Brisco kid
Yeah.
back in the day.
I did have right thumb. I think at number 2 because what's anybody going to do without a thumb? Like,
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough to do anything.
You seem like a man that wouldn't be afraid to eat a butt.
I would not eat a butt.
Really? I guess you said you are the picky eater, so.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well.
I mean, if it's from an animal, maybe.
Yeah, pork butt, but I think pork butt is pork
But
shoulder,
not
actually.
a defensive end. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Pork butt is pork
That would
shoulder.
be a defended end at that point, I have to imagine. Mick Shaffer, 41 Action News. Thank you for rounding out the weekend. A lot of butt sort of shaped things. I think rounding it out. We're at the end. I'm an ass. I don't know. I'm not sure which one, but that's it. That's the end of the show. Thanks for listening. The championship games are this weekend. Mick, go ahead and say
Michelle. Bye, Michelle. Bye, Michelle.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm attorney Mike DePasquale. After a car wreck, the last thing you want to do is trust the insurance company. These insurance companies try to rip off good people every single day. My law firm won't let you get ripped off. We'll fight to get you all the money you deserve, and you don't pay us a dime unless we win your case. If you've been hurt, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this. All you need to know, 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey investors, have you always wanted to get into the real estate investing game but don't have the money? Crossroads Investment Lending loans money for fix and flips. Locally owned and here to help you fund your real estate project. Call 913-766-2900 or go to kclend.com. That's kclend.com. Crossroads Investment Lending has helped hundreds of KC investors make their real estate deals happen. Call 913-766-2900 or go to kclend.com.
You've heard Tom Shane on the radio, but have you actually visited Shane Company? If you're looking for a unique engagement ring that reflects your personal style, come see us. Not only do we have all the classics, but our in-house design team is constantly introducing beautiful new styles. For your center stone, you'll find all the traditional diamond shapes, as well as the trending shapes like oval, cushion, and princess cut. Another way to make the ring uniquely yours is to choose a colorful, natural center stone. We're known for our vivid rubies and sapphires. Our sapphires come in over a dozen colors, like peach, lavender, and ice blue. Visit our store or go online where you can create and virtually try on any ring. With the largest selection of ring settings and loose stones, unlimited combinations and looks, at Shane Company, you can get your ring your way. We'll protect it for life, for free, and keep it sparkling like the day you said yes.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
All right, I don't know what you want for this holiday season, but this guy right here wants practical gifts. Gifts I can use, right? Like a great razor. Harry's razors are the best razors around. I made the switch in 2015, and anyone you give a Harry's razor to will thank you for years to come. And right now, for a limited time, my listeners can save $5 off holiday shave sets, plus get free shipping if you use the promo code Petro at harrys.com. They make the sharpest blades ever. Engineered in their German factory, they're award-winning razors backed by a 100% quality guarantee. And their refills are as low as $2 each, so they'll save money time and time and time again. Harry's holiday shave sets come in prepackaged, handsome holiday-themed gift boxes. You can even make it personal by engraving the razor handle. And 1% of each sale is donated back to charitable organizations. Right now, take advantage. Go to harrys.com, use the promo code Petro to get $5 off, plus free shipping off at any Harry's limited edition holiday set. Weighted handle, 3 razor cartridges, foaming shave gel, and a travel cover, all in a great gift box. Don't give socks, give Harry's. Harrys.com, promo code Petro.
WHB Kansas City.